Alrighty then. We are going live here. Right about now. Alright. Hello and welcome everybody to Talk Thursday. We're here on episode 8, doing your weekly news roundup for everything, anything. Mostly North Korea, mostly Trump. You know, that's about how it is every week. I'm your host, David Shepard, also known as HeartbeatBrother_1, with my co-host here.
Raining Death Man, also known as Kim.
Alright. Let's get right down to it. Ouch, my soul. I'm in a very bad chest pain. And also, it's like cool enough. I mean, the air conditioner's broken, it sucks ass,
But y'all can't hear this.
wait. Yeah, I mean, we've played with microphone settings.
We're getting good, folks.
I mean, I don't know if we're getting good.
Well,
We've always been good. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you take this one away.
Okay, starting off at the top. Trump withdrawing
We can do the video
United
right
States.
We're going to do the video right
Nah. Starting from the top. Trump withdrawing U.S. from Paris Climate Agreement, but open to returning. So, President Trump will pull the United States out of the Paris Climate Accord, he said this afternoon. The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord, but begin negotiations to re-enter either the Paris Accord or really an entirely new transaction on terms that are fair to the United States, the president said in the Rose Garden. So we are getting at, well, we are starting to negotiate, and we'll see if we can make a deal that's fair. All implementations of the non-binding portions of the agreement will cease to be enforced by the United States, he said. The decision fulfills a key promise Trump made on the campaign trail and overturns a major accomplishment by his predecessor, Barack Obama. Trump's speech in the Rose Garden centered on what he argued is the negative economic impact of the accord, calling it a bad deal for America. The bottom line is, the Paris Accord is very unfair at the highest level to the United States.
Alright, Ken, would you like to elaborate? What do you think?
Well,
do you think it's a bad business thing? Bad economics for us?
I mean, that's always the argument when it comes to anything with the environment. Because generally, whenever you have environmental, restrictions that take place, that generally means somebody can no longer do what they did to get rid of waste, or
whatever they did to save money.
Whatever they did to save money that fucked over the environment.
Questionably legal and questionably immoral.
Yes, exactly. And that's part of what the Paris Accords, put in place. That they have to, lower carbon emissions or such a percentage by, certain time stamps. And that was for all the countries in the Accord, not just the United States. And that's generally just how that works. There was a time when companies just dumped pollutants into rivers. And there was a famous case in, the 40s, it was 40s, 50s, of a New York Times journalist who was in Tennessee covering the story. And the river was on fire. And the journalist was shocked at this. And he asked the locals, and oh yeah, it's just a normal thing, no biggie. When he reported on that, I think that was a Nixon thing. When he reported on that, the American people were outraged that these companies were polluting our lakes and rivers so much they were catching on fire, which actually prompted, would you believe it or not, Richard Nixon to start the EPA. Even under a Republican presidency, the environment was important. Anyways, continue. Referring to the Trump here says he's referring to the Paris deal as a massive redistribution of United States wealth to other countries. The president made the case that the deal fundamentally disadvantages the U.S. economically relative to other countries. I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris, Trump continued. I promised I would exit or renegotiate any deal which fails to serve America's interest. He said the Paris Accords would undermine our economy, hamstring our workers, weaken our sovereignty, and impose unacceptable legal risks. Despite the withdrawal, the president noted he would be willing to rejoin the deal under terms that are more favorable to the U.S. or to work on an entirely new agreement. I'm willing to work with our democratic leaders to either negotiate our way into Paris under the terms that are fair to the United States and its workers, or negotiate a new deal that protects our country and negotiating our way into Paris. What are you talking about? Is it like Germany in World War II got to fight the way to Paris? The accord, which was sponsored by the United Nations, aims to slow the globe's rising temperature. Under Obama, the United States committed to cutting its carbon emissions by 26 to 28% from 2005 levels by 2025. The United States officially entered the Paris Agreement along with China on September 3, 2016. Only 31% of respondents in an ABC News Washington Post pre-inaugural poll in January said that they supported withdrawing from the pact. For many, Trump's decisions is an indicator that the United States is pushing off inevitable work necessary to combat climate change. It means that the country most responsible for climate change has reneged on its promise to be part of the solution.
Wait, hold on. Did it say reneged?
Yes, it reneged.
Well,
I mean, that's the proper term.
this is funny.
I mean, I guess. Hey. As if you don't have like 17 windows open, dude.
Yeah, that's full on.
Oh, sorry. Miss, I have 2 monitors.
Yeah, but I have to.
Oh. Yes. So it's surprising. I mean, I'm not surprised that he would get us out of this agreement. Ultimately, this agreement is what's necessary. As it is, we've already reached over 400 parts per million of CO2. It's universally agreed by the globe's climate scientists that once we reach that point, it will be next to impossible to get our climate back to a level to where it won't be catastrophic. What this accord attempts to do is to try and bring down the parts per million of CO2 in the air, but also make sure we're all doing our part to restrict it. Frankly, getting China on board is a major landmark achievement. Because, I mean, you look at China, the Chinese are suffocating under the thick amounts of smog and fog in the air. I mean, heck, when Beijing hosted the Olympics for about a week to 2 weeks before the Olympics occurred, they had every plant in Beijing shut down. It took 1 to 2 weeks for the air to clear of all the smog because it was that thick. Right after the Olympics ended, of course, all those plants started up immediately, and the air was filled with thick, horrible fogs or smog. But that's the thing. China is doing a lot of projects right now to increase their green energy reliance and to benefit the reduction in climate change. The United States should be a world leader in this. But clearly, our president has other priorities. And right here, he says, "It will threaten our credibility in the world," says Nicholas Burns, a former U.S. diplomat and professor of international politics at Harvard University. "It may begin to create the impression that China is a more responsible country than the United States. And it may give it a real boost to the Chinese because we will be seen as not doing our part on the biggest global problem." Exactly what I said. Exactly. China's becoming a world leader in green energy. And we're supposed to be the world leader. We're supposed to lead the world, the shining city on the hill, the beacon of American freedom and independence. Where are we?
Although we all know that's not true anymore. Probably hasn't been true for a while.
Sadly, yes. But that's the thing. It can still be that way. I honestly believe America can become that way again.
See, this has to do with MAGA. America can be great again.
But it won't be under Trump.
Nope. His MAGA is not the actual MAGA that we need.
You know, we need a country that supports its people and protects its people. You know, we need protectionist tariffs, in my opinion. We also need to actually bolster our civil services and honestly reduce our military expenses. We don't need, 260-something bases around the world. We don't need to be the world's police. It's not our job. Bring our soldiers home.
And so we can reduce military expenses even without shutting down bases, without cutting soldiers' pay, because everyone's biggest complaint, they just got a pay raise. But just because everyone in the military got a pay raise, which they probably needed, most of them did. But you can cut military spending without cutting soldiers' pay. Most, 90% or something of the budget goes to R&D?
I'm not sure.
Some large percentage, maybe 50.
And also, part of the problem with that is the military-industrial complex. Yes. The fact that you have all these big companies that have these huge contracts for billions and even trillions of dollars. And what do they do with it? Well, they spend it, sure, but they also spend it on bribing your congressmen to give them more contracts. A couple thousand here, car there, bam, you got a couple dozen, congressmen in your pocket, and they're suddenly tap dancing to your tune. Oh, look at that bill, that project that, the American military doesn't really need, but hey, you want some more money. There you go. Nothing will be fixed until we can get money out of politics, until we can restrict campaign donations to a reasonable limit and make campaigns publicly funded. Because now people can't take outside money, and so PACs can't accept unlimited contributions.
Yes. Or contributions from, random people, shell companies.
Yeah, look at, the Clinton Foundation is a major example. So the Clinton Foundation is supposedly a charity that, promotes world peace, etc., etc. But, anyway. I'm sure, 1.001% is funded.
It's like a lot of those charities nowadays.
Yeah, but a lot of charities set up by the rich are usually dissuaded. Trump has a charity. Has had similar funding in Saudi Arabia. Interestingly enough, Clinton Foundation also had funding by Saudi Arabia on Bill Clinton's birthday while they were negotiating with the State Department, which Hillary Clinton was the head of, for weapons deal.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes, so, give a couple million there, Clinton Foundation makes money, weapons deal gets passed, and billions of dollars of weapons moves.
That's always scary.
Yeah. They recently, Saudi Arabia recently confirmed a deal for, I think, about $100 billion in weapons. Or maybe it was $136 billion in weapons.
That's a lot of weapons!
It was a lot of money.
That's a lot of guns. How many 7 Days to Die guns is that? We have a chest full of those. Which we have, no, I haven't. I think I streamed it once. I don't think there's any.
Yeah, recently right here. U.S.-Saudi weapons deal for nearly $110 billion.
Billion.
And would you look at that? Defense contractor stocks rally upon hearing the news.
Of course they did. Because, they're all making money.
Exactly.
Well, if I would have known about that, I would have bought some stocks.
Stocks of defense contractors. Yep.
Technically, at this point, they would be a good person to buy stocks in. It's only going to go up.
War is good business, peace is good for business.
Apparently not for their business.
Only for certain businesses.
Yeah.
Anyways. Well, they only gained 1%.
I'll show you 1%.
Actually, wow. Look at that. 3% gains, 2% gains, 4% gains.
Yeah, that would have been decent money.
Yeah, would have.
I don't know how to stock market.
I can help you with that. General Dynamics. Love it. Mm-hmm. Okay, anyways, so that's about all we're going to get out of this. Basically, this was a bad idea for Trump to leave. He said he was going to do it. He's actually sticking to a couple of his campaign promises, but only the bad ones. And one good one, which is TPP.
And TPP for the member. I am Cornelio. Anyway. Russian ambassador told Moscow that Kushner wanted a secret communication channel with Kremlin. Oh shit, that fucking Jared Kushner and Russia's ambassador to Washington discussed the possibility of setting up a secret, secure communication channel between Trump's transition team and the Kremlin, using Russian diplomatic facilities in an apparent move to shield their pre-inauguration discussions from monitoring, according to U.S. officials briefed on intelligence reports. Ambassador Sergei Kislyak reported to his superiors in Moscow that Kushner, son-in-law and confidant to the then-President-elect Trump, made the proposal during a meeting on December 1st or 2nd at Trump Tower. According to intercepts of Russian communications that were reviewed by U.S. officials, Kislyak said Kushner suggested using Russian diplomatic facilities in the United States for communications. The meeting was also attended by Michael Flynn, Trump's first national security advisor. That's interesting. The White House disclosed the meeting only in March, playing down its significance, but people familiar with the matter say the FBI now considers the encounter, as well as another meeting Kushner had with a Russian banker, to be of investigative interest. Well, I mean, yeah. Kislyak reportedly was taken aback by the suggestion of allowing an American to use Russian communications gear at its embassy or consulate. A proposal that would have carried security risks for Moscow as well as the Trump team. Well, obviously, these people don't know anything about security or anything. This is the kind of people that I deal with.
That's the thing. Jared Kushner is an idiot.
Yeah.
He's always, like, in every meeting that's ever held, most everybody talks in these meetings. Like, you see, not Kushner. Never says a word. Just silent. Just looking at everybody. People call him intelligent. Certainly doesn't show it. Doesn't speak it. Clearly in these meetings with high-level people in Russia, clearly doesn't say it.
I mean, that's like me. I usually don't talk in meetings unless, like, right now when things are going on, I have to start putting my foot down on things.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Whenever you speak, you're not an idiot.
No.
You know what you're saying.
Yeah.
This guy is an idiot.
Thought out. Oh, no, yeah. Well, I mean, it's arguably that most of Trump's cabinet is full of idiots.
Yeah.
And I still think the only reasonable person on Trump's cabinet is General Mathis. Is he on his cabinet?
Well, he's the defense secretary.
Yeah, his cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, General Mathis. Which is, everyone calls him crazy, but he actually pumps out some of the most reasonable, like, quotes.
Reasonable for the Trump administration.
Well, reasonable for an ex-general.
He's still kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, but he's not, I mean, he still has decent, intelligent thought. I mean, he was probably an alright general, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Can't say there. Anyway, neither the meeting nor the communication of Americans involved were under U.S. surveillance, officials said. The White House declined to comment. Of course they did. Robert Kellner, a lawyer for Flynn, declined to comment, obviously. The Russian embassy did not respond to requests for comment. Yeah, nobody's going to fucking tell you that they were fucking around. Especially when, in theory, you know, that's kind of technically treason, as we know talked about. And, like, also the Trump administration's under, you know, the
investigation by the FBI for communicating with Russia before he was president.
I mean, which this obviously shows ties with Russia. I mean, we know that.
I mean, it's not
Trump,
complicated.
I think Trump, even before, like, while he was campaigning, he had calls with Putin. Like,
yeah.
Those are facts. Those are actual facts. Which means,
I mean,
that's
how stupid does the Trump administration think the American people are when week after week after week, story after story after story, it's all Trump administration has had communication with, you know, a dozen, 2 dozen, you know, all these different people in Russia, these extremely powerful, influential, important people, and they're going to say, no, there's no Russian conspiracy. We never communicated with them before.
And then, right away, saying Trump gets called. Oh, what up, Pootie Poo? Hey, baby. How's it going? Putin's just like, yo, you can't talk about Russia like that. And he's like, okay, Pootie, I got you. And he goes, alright, yeah, we don't talk to Russians around here. Nah, that's totally.
Is that just talking about Putin? Nah.
I could have sworn that said Putin and had a Russian ringtone. No.
A Russian ringtone.
Hold on, let me see your phone. Shows them, says Putin on it, Pootie Poo, and it's like Putin in quotations or something. It's just like, or totally not Putin on it. There you go. That would be perfect.
Well, he hasn't had his coffee yet.
Yeah, he hasn't had his coffee. Anyway, Russia at times feeds false information into communication streams it suspects are monitored as a way of showing misinformation and confusion among U.S. analysts. But officials said that it's unclear what Kislyak would have had to gain by falsely characterizing his contacts with Kushner from Moscow, particularly at a time when the Kremlin still saw the prospect of dramatically improved relations with Trump. Kushner's apparent interest in establishing a secret channel with Moscow rather than relying on U.S. government systems has added to the intrigue surrounding the Trump administration relationship with Russia. Basically, as I just said. To some officials, it also reflects a staggering naivete, which is true. The FBI closely monitors the communications of Russian officials in the United States, and it maintains a nearly constant surveillance of its diplomatic facilities. The National Security Agency, otherwise known as the NSA, monitors the communications of Russian officials overseas. Alright, let's be real here. These people monitor everything. I mean, yeah.
I mean, why do you think they just said that? Russia, occasionally drops false information because they know they're being monitored.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they monitor Americans too, so just kind of have if you're here.
Well, no, the only Americans they monitor because they can't legally monitor Americans, but what they do is they monitor communications that Americans have with foreign peoples that is on their list.
So they actually can. It's legal for them to monitor all communications in the United States of U.S. citizens.
No, it's only legal if they have communication with people, the foreign entities on their watch list. Yes. No, I'll tell you. It's not legal.
Are you sure?
Yes.
They can do it under the guise of anything. They can just say it's for...
If they have a warrant...
No, they don't need a warrant. They can say it's for the defense. What is it? It has to do with the Patriot Act.
FISA?
No. Here. Patriot Act. I got you.
Because, I mean, the NSA was doing that, and now they've rescinded that.
Oh, they've actually stopped doing that?
Yeah. That was under the PRISM and such, which was found out by Snowden, released to the people.
Actually expired on June 1st. Okay, so it expired on June 1st anyway.
Parts of it did.
The passage of the USA Freedom
Which extended
Act,
it.
which the expired parts were restored, renewed through the however sections of the law amended to stop the NSA from continuing mass funding of websites.
Yes, so they were doing that.
About targeted individuals' permission for the okay. So see now it is actually fixed.
Because the thing is, there were
it was totally legal for them to just
it was, but it wasn't. Because what they did was that they had a secret court set up as a part of the Patriot Act called FISA Court, or the Foreign Intelligence Service, something or another. But basically, the FISA Court was...
Hold on. They say Act Back House of Democrats comprising an overwhelming portion of the Senate. 3 cousins bloody Noah, Robert A. and Ron Paul of Texas.
Yeah, Ron Paul, as a libertarian, he was really offended by the Patriot Act, and he was Yes.
Normally, most of the Republicans were like, "What?
Yeah, well, Ron Paul is kind of unique even for Texas.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly. I mean, he's still not great on some issues, but on some things he's good. On some things he's good.
It's good. Surprisingly. Have somebody. He's to stop Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, what was the other dude before Ted Cruz? That one dude. Old guy. I can't remember his name.
That's the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. FISA. Which basically was a rubber stamp for the NSA to get whatever they wanted approved.
Governor Greg Abbott. It was the governor. It was last governor.
Rick Perry?
Yeah.
He's been governor for like 15 years.
He's a cunt, so I don't remember his name. That name, I don't know him anything. Anyway, carrying on. Current and former U.S. intelligence officials said that although Russian diplomats have secure means communicating with Moscow, Kushner's apparent request for access to such channels was extraordinary. Yeah, it's like, hey guys, I know you got them like super secret, communication things. Let's
totally communicate secret.
Yeah, let's hook me up with that shit. How would he trust that the Russians wouldn't leak it on their side? Said one former senior intelligence official. The FBI would know that a Trump transition official is going in and out of the embassy, which would cause a great deal of concern, he added. The entire idea, he said, seems extremely naive or absolutely crazy. Well, it's because these people have no fucking absolute idea of how the world actually works. I assume these people feel like it's a fucking
No, it's all just
movie.
a game to them.
No, it's like a fucking movie.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He's probably got all his knowledge from movies.
Enhance. It's okay. So I watched Snatched recently with a girl, and like that's basically what happened. There's this nerdy dude goes into like the CIA room, and the guy's just like they're looking through the videos, and they see like some parts of where his mother and stuff was. They were being captured in another country. And he's like, see that right there? Enhance. And the lead dude turns around, shut the fuck up. It's beautiful. He's like, that's not how this works.
Thank God.
Actually, no, I think he turned around and was like, yes. But it was beautifully hilarious. Either way, I mean, the movie starts out really shitty, but it's an alright movie. It's a funny movie. Anyway. The discussion of a secret channel adds to a broader pattern of efforts by Trump's closest advisors. Oh, hi. Anyway, to obscure their contracts with Russian counterparts. Trump's first national security advisor, Flynn, was forced to resign after a series of false statements about his conversation with Kissinger. Attorney General Jeff Sessions recused himself from matters related to Russian investigation after it was revealed that he had failed to disclose his own meetings with Kissinger when asked during congressional testimony about any contact with Russians. So
his Attorney General and his former National Security Advisor.
So Flynn's not the security.
No, he's been gone for like a month or two now.
Okay. Yeah, didn't we get somebody else in? Some other annoying person?
I don't know.
Anyway, Kushner's interactions with Russians, including Kislyak and an executive for a Russian bank under U.S. sanctions, were not acknowledged by the White House until they were exposed in media reports. It's like, shut the fuck up, keep it secret. Look at it.
The new one.
Who is he?
H.R. McMaster.
Yeah, never heard that, right? It is common for senior advisors of a newly elected president to be in contact with foreign leaders and officials, but new administrations are generally cautious in their handling of interactions with Moscow, which U.S. intelligence agencies have accused of waging an unprecedented campaign to interfere in last year's presidential race that overled Trump. Well, yeah. Obama administration's officials say members of the Trump transition team never approached them about arranging a secure communication channel with their Russian contacts, possibly because of concerns about leaks. The State Department, the White House, National Security Council, and the U.S. intelligence agencies all have the ability to set up secure communication channels with foreign leaders. Though doing so for a transition team would be unusual. Yeah, it's like transition, guys. Woo! Trump's advisors were similarly secretive about meetings with leaders from the United Arab Emirates. The Obama White House only learned that the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi was flying to New York in December to see Kushner, Flynn, and Stephen K. Bannon, another top Trump president, because U.S. border agents in the UAE spotted the Emirate leader's name on their flight manifest. Interesting. Russia would also have had reasons of its own to reject such an overture from Kushner. Doing so would require Moscow to expose its most sophisticated communication capabilities, which are likely housed in high-secure locations at diplomatic compounds to an American. It's probably just like a bear communicating.
Kidding me? They got vacuum tubes and Nixie tubes.
Oh lord. It's like a bad, dangerous man.
Nixie tubes?
Very dangerous.
I have a Nixie tube fly.
Yeah, no. It can be very dangerous.
It's pretty cool.
I told you about that. No, they're kind of cool. Also kind of net. But anyway, I wanted a blue one. Relevant. The Post was first alerted in mid-December to the meeting by an anonymous letter, which said, among other things, that Kushner had talked to Kislyak about setting up a communication channel to speak to officials who reviewed the letters and spoke on the condition of anonymity and discussed sensitive intelligence, said the portion about the secret channel was consistent with their understanding of events. For instance, according to those officials in the letter, Kushner conveyed to the Russians that he was aware that it would be politically sensitive to meet publicly, but it was necessary for the Trump team to be able to continue the communication with Russian government officials. That's interesting. In addition to their discussion about setting up the communication channel, Kushner, Flynn, and Kislyak also talked about arranging a meeting between a representative of Trump and a Russian contact in a third country whose name was not identified, according to the anonymous letter. The Post reported in April that Eric Prince, the founder of the private security firm Blackwater, now called
Academy.
It's gone through like 5 names.
Yes, they have.
And an informal advisor to the Trump transition team met on January 11th, 9 days before Trump's inauguration, in the Seychelles Islands
Yeah, I heard
in the
about
Indian
this.
Ocean with a representative of
It's
Russian
fucking
President
sketchy
Vladimir
as
Putin.
hell. He's like, okay, so we're gonna get Blackwater. Who the fuck thinks, I need to have a secret clandestine meeting with a representative of Vladimir Putin? So let me contact Blackwater. Brilliant idea. Who killed, dozens of civilians illegally and then ran out of the country to escape prosecution? Blackwater.
Did they run out of the country?
A lot of them, disappeared.
Well, let's be honest here. We cover for our military men that killed dozens of civilians daily.
We cover for our military men who try and stop child rape.
Who try and stop child rape?
Yeah. In a negative sense. Not the positive sense. I will explain.
I was like, what? Yeah, you're gonna have to explain this because it sounds really dumb the way you just said it. So you're gonna have to fix it.
Yes, I will. So, in Afghanistan and rural parts of the Middle East, I don't remember the name of it. It's some Arabic name.
Generic Arabic name here.
But it's the term for male child slaves that are used for sex. They dress them up and have them dance and then proceed to have sex with them. It's not a pretty sight, at least from what's been spoken about. So basically, there was a major.
Because that's not my sort of thing. I wouldn't know about this. You're from what's been spoken about. That's not that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in Afghanistan, a lot of our military gets around by working with the village leaders. Because the village leaders and the tribal leaders are usually the people in power. They usually allow American safe access and restriction of Taliban access to areas. So we have to work with them a lot. So the tribal leaders do this quite often, as is fact. And an American soldier saw this was going on, and he could hear the screams from the tent of this child screaming out in pain and whatever else. And went in there to try and stop it. So he pulled the guy off the kid, sent the kid away, and started hitting on the elder leader who was raping this child.
Big beating him.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh hey, I saw what you did to that kid. You're a sexy bitch, man.
Yes. Needless to say, that guy was severely reprimanded by his superiors for that.
That's depressing. But that sort of shit happens.
But I mean, it's a fucked up thing. I mean, we're fucking Americans, goddammit. We're supposed to be there to defend people. We have our morals, and our morals are fucking a hell of a lot more righteous than theirs. I'm not usually one for a moral war, but there are some things like that are just immoral anywhere you go. The fact that these fucking goat fuckers and child fuckers think differently.
Shit.
I'm going there. This fucking shit pisses me off. This is an outrage. Having to work with these despicable human beings. And that a man who stops it gets reprimanded.
Well, there's things like that in the military. That's one of those things that the reason why I don't join the military. Some people say I wouldn't make it, but the reason why I wouldn't make it is because I can't just follow orders. I think too freely. And then I have other people on the opposite end of the spectrum that say they would break me. But I'm sure, as Kenneth would know, and most people that actually know me would know, I resist any sort of thing like that.
It's like that episode of King of the Hill, where Bobby gets sent to the military training camp that Cotton got sent to.
Oh, Lord.
And he was dumped in the hole for 3 days. And when he came out, he was perfectly fine. The moral is they couldn't break him because he was clay. You can mold it, you can shape it, you can, adjust it, but ultimately it will always be clay. It will always go back to a ball.
Interesting.
That was just the metaphor they used. It's
Weird.
King of the Hill, man.
Weird metaphor. I mean, clay, you can mold it, shape it, and then you fire it, and then it turns into that forever. But,
Yeah,
whatever.
you're kind of like Bobby. Yeah.
God damn it, Bobby. My sister actually used to call me that all the time. She's like, Bobby. But then, Bobby's retired, though.
Is he?
Kind of.
I mean,
He's not very smart.
no, he's not very smart.
He's not legit retired. I mean, he might be.
I don't know. I mean,
Under
there was
now
that
spectrum,
episode,
he might be.
probably now. Yeah, there was that episode where, remember that episode where he got the defensive training at a women's class?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "That's my person. I don't know you. That's my person." And he kept kicking everybody in the balls. And then Hank had to be called up. This was like, "Yeah, your son's cooking kids in the balls."
Yeah, beautiful. God
well.
damn it, Bobby.
Pretty much. Hank Hill. Good old Texas father.
Alright, that's the end of the story. What do we do if they ask for medium rare? Or, medium well, there you go. Ask them politely, yet firmly to leave. This is another one of those things. He talked about, so I'm going to read the title here and say something immediately. Putin says U.S. missile systems in Alaska, South Korea challenge Russia. There should be an and there. Reuters!
Is it my story to cover this one?
Yes, it is definitely your turn.
Okay.
Anyway, that's why I said I was going to say that. But, Putin said the same thing about when we put missile defense system in Turkey. I mean, we might be, honestly.
Not Turkey.
Huh? Was it Turkey?
I think it was,
It was Romania.
It was Romania.
It was Romania.
Romania, like the Ukraine.
Yeah, well, I don't think we put it in Romania.
But
I think it was specifically Romania.
Yeah.
Either way, we put in
random northern eastern bloc
some
European
sort of
country.
Eastern European jizz. I don't know. But yes, we put missile defenses over there, and he basically said the same thing. And he's kind of not necessarily wrong. The South Korean ones need to be there because North Korea is fucking retarded.
The Alaska one needs to be there because we got a country to protect.
I mean, I guess it's true too. And the problem is Putin says, we have all these defenses, and so in theory we couldn't get bombed in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's
true,
true.
which is fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. But the one that was in Romania was it would instantly intercept a missile before it even got anywhere, and it basically killed their nuclear weapons protection, which is kind of a problem because then we have nobody to balance us out.
Well,
I see his
we have the rest
side.
of the world.
There is not much for the rest of the
China.
world. China doesn't have that many nukes.
No, they don't have many, but they have them. They have a good amount.
But it's not fucking if
America
and
but
Russia.
I don't want Russia to be able to threaten, world
fine
peace.
With it. I don't care. Russia doesn't threaten world peace.
I mean, they kind of do. They did take over Crimea and about a quarter of the Ukraine.
Yeah, no, that's not world peace.
No, but that's just taking land from an independent nation state.
That was once owned by them, technically.
That's besides the point. They went into Georgia, and George Bush went in there and just told them to get the fuck out.
Yeah, well, we need to do it. That's the only time I actually like America being the world police. Team America, world police. Is when we go and actually do useful things. Well, we kind of don't tend to do it. We do it for the wrong reasons mostly now. It's mostly for money or oil or something. Something along one of those two lines.
Pretty much. So, Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that elements of a U.S. anti-missile system in Alaska and South Korea were a challenge to Russia, and that Moscow had no choice but to build up its own forces in response. Putin, speaking at an economic forum in St. Petersburg, said Russia could not stand idly by and watch while others increased their military capabilities along its border in the Far East in the same way as he said had been done in Europe. He said Moscow was particularly alarmed by the development of the U.S. THAAD anti-missile system to South Korea to counter a North Korean missile threat and to reported U.S. plans to beef up Fort Greely in Alaska, a launch site for anti-ballistic missiles. This destroys the strategic balance in the world. Putin told a meeting with international media, the start of which was broadcast on state TV. What is happening is very serious and alarming. In Alaska and now in South Korea, elements of anti-missile defense systems are emerging. Should we just stand idly by and watch this? Of course not. We are thinking about how to respond to these challenges. This is a challenge for us. Washington was using North Korea as a pretext to expand its military infrastructure in Asia in the same way it had used Iran as a pretext to develop a missile shield in Europe, charged Putin.
Look, she's not necessarily wrong.
Well, if Putin wants to develop their own anti-missile system, well, so be it.
The problem is that they're not everywhere in the world like we are.
Yeah.
So,
and there's no way they could produce enough quality.
But I mean, on a lot of aspects here, he's not necessarily wrong.
No, I mean,
we're throwing the balance of power way out of proportion, majorly in our favor, which is kind of bad.
Consider
it's good and bad. It's good for the world if it's used for good. It's bad for the world if we use it as a power pissing match and we use it to turn against everybody.
Well, this all just makes it a Cold War. But yes. Look at it in context. So, like the Europe,
problem.
Well, yes, but if you look at the European missile defense system,
does the European have one?
Well, yeah, we put one in it.
Is that what the
Yes, that's what it is.
So
it stops Russia.
They should have had one. Another country is like Switzerland would have one. They have the best tanks. Why wouldn't they have a good missile system? I'm sure they have something. It's just super secretive.
But
it comes out of a bank.
If Russia were to attack anybody, just in general, if they go for Europe, they'd probably try missiles. If they do that, well, the anti-missile defense system will stop them. So their missiles will be useless. If they go on ground, they don't have a very good army. It's well known Russia's army is a piece of shit. Partially because of how service works, that there's mandatory service for all people, I think, but it's only for 6 months, but there's no good quality training. So, unlike other countries where you have to have a year or two in the military, much as 6 months, good enough.
Israel does that? I think everyone has to fight in Israel.
Israel, I think Switzerland does it.
Yeah. Apparently they keep their guns in Switzerland.
Yeah, keep the guns with no ammo.
Yeah, I've got a cool toy. Woo!
I mean, I guess if the need ever arises, the military just be like, "Here's ammo, now go."
Here's some ammo for the ensuing zombie apocalypse. Enjoy.
Well, it's called a zombie apocalypse.
In theory.
Well, I mean,
if they reanimated corpses type stuff, it doesn't matter. That's not going to stop it.
Well, no. Well, yes, it will, because of how body decomposition works.
Again, reanimation.
But they're still dead. They're still dead. But if they don't have blood flow, that means things aren't getting proper oxygen and blood flow. So then necropsy sets in. So then they're not able to move, and then when they do move, their bones and everything else will be rotting away.
Well, that's in theory already happening.
Yeah. So then if it's cold, well, they get frostburn, and then their limbs can shatter. In the heat, it will cause the skin and everything else to melt and liquefy eventually. I mean, and the thing is,
also, you'll have animals that'll be like, that shit.
And as a part of global outbreak, it only gotta last 2 to 3 weeks, because bodies explode. Bodies literally explode. The gases in your stomach expand and literally explode.
But what if that doesn't happen?
I mean, if everything I've discussed doesn't happen, then they're not zombies. There's something else. Because that means that nutrients and oxygen and things are circulating, are getting around.
But what if whatever happens, they don't have to do that? I think that's usually
what could happen that they wouldn't have to do that?
Well, I mean, they're already dead, so there wouldn't be any circulation in the first place.
But this thing, I mean, if you ever go to I think it's, what the hell is it called? A corpse farm. It's I don't know, it's something like that. But it's supposed to be a farm that investigators go to that do and like body, like police work and such. They go there so they can see bodies in various states of decomposition to see, how things are, how things affect their bodies. And I mean, you see it. I mean, the bodies fall apart quickly.
Yeah.
And if it's heat or if it's cold, it doesn't matter.
I feel like cold preserves.
No, cold actually does a lot of damage as well because it freezes up the muscles and such, so they're not actually able to move effectively. And then, well, I mean, it can shatter. So
that has to be. I figure that has to be really cold.
I mean, just general cold. I mean, like New York in the winter cold.
That's like below freezing.
Well, it's like 19 degrees, so yes, technically below freezing.
It's far below freezing. So that's.
But I mean, generally, well, yeah. But like I said, generally anywhere in the United States, if you have a zombie, it won't last because there's so much heat in the United States, humidity or cold if you go up north, that all these elements will take them out quite effectively. And like I said, if a zombie outbreak occurs, you only got to last like 3 weeks, and the bodies will decompose by then.
Yeah,
and
I mean, the thing is if there's, like you say, if there's no muscles or anything left, they in theory wouldn't be able to move.
Yeah,
bones can't move.
The only thing you'd have to worry about at that point is animals eating corpses
and then becoming infected themselves. And then the animals have to. Basically, you'd have to wait a while.
Yeah, generally, there's a some point, like if you have proper military response to, with flamethrowers and shit, just burning everything, I think you'll be alright.
Napalm!
So that was a diversion about zombies.
Yes.
Okay. Russian response. Putin said that Putin said that Kuril Islands, a chain of islands in the Far East where Moscow and Tokyo had rival territorial claims, were quite a convenient place to deploy Russian military hardware to respond to such. So they're basically quite overtly threatening Japan, and by extension South Korea. Okay. Putin, you're getting into a pissing match with the fucking United States.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
what the United States is doing too.
Yeah.
But he's not going to win. Or Japan will just put on an island right next to them, military hardware, and then be like, okay, both these
actually,
are just going to...
What they'll do is they'll use anime. They will indoctrinate them into the core of the Japanese. It'll work. Trust me. Do it, my fellow Japanese.
Airdrop crates of anime hentai.
All the tentacle paws. Yes. It'll just be magical. They'll just blare magical girl songs and shit. Like,
God.
Oh, it'll be beautiful.
Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, whatever the fuck, Sergei, said last year Russia planned to deploy some of its newest missile defense systems and drones to the islands. Drones. As part of a drive to rearm military units already stationed there. He also spoke of Russia building a military base there. I don't agree that we're unilaterally starting to militarize these lands. What the fuck, Putin? With everything that just the defense minister said, you're clearly militarizing these islands. It's simply a forced response to what's happening in the region. Any talks of demilitarizing the island could only occur once tensions in the entire region have been reduced. Well, tensions will be reduced when North Korea stops acting like a piece of shit.
Which will be never.
Tokyo and Moscow have long been locked in talks over the contested islands, known as the Northern Territories in Japan. Putin said Russia was alive to the danger that Japan might allow U.S. troops to deploy there if it struck a deal to hand over some of the islands to Tokyo's jurisdiction. Such a possibility exists. Russia did not want to worsen already poor relations with Washington by fueling what he described as an arms race, but Putin said the United States was still consumed by what he called an anti-Russia campaign. How will the situation develop? We don't know. Not well.
We don't know. Not well. Answer is not well. Go ahead and make this little post-Reno here. Publish button, the boom. Bada bing, bango. We're not even going to get through much today. See? It's kind of nice. We started super late. Holy shit, the amount of enhancing I'm gonna have to do here. Fuck me. Enhance. And oops. I enhanced the wrong thing. I didn't need that. Enhance. Oh.
There we go.
That's up. Backing up.
Backing up.
Backing up. Anyway, China activates world's largest floating solar power plant. Ooh, this sounds pretty hot. I think I need to get on this. That's pretty cool. The largest floating solar power plant in the world is officially in operation. Located in the city of Huanan, whatever, and the Anhui province in China, the system has a power output capacity of 40 megawatts. That doesn't sound like that. Yeah, which isn't huge by today's standards, but was just a decade ago. You need 1.42 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts, everybody.
Yeah. Floating solar farms have several advantages, not the least of which is they don't use up valuable land in densely populated areas. China has over 100 cities with populations of more than 1 million. Gross. The U.S. by comparison has 10.
Wow.
Like 2 of which are in Texas. I think 3. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is Dallas Fort Worth one city or 2?
Everyone considers it one, but it's
people call it the Dallas Fort Worth area.
At DFW. The DFW. Yeah. Houston for sure is one.
Yeah.
Panels help to conserve precious freshwater supplies by lowering the amount of evaporation into the surrounding atmosphere, and in return the water keeps ambient temperatures around the solar panels low. Nice. Yeah. Which helps boost their efficiency and limit long-term heat-induced degradation. Interesting. The most interesting thing, exactly, about the floating solar power plant in Huanan, however, is that the lake supporting it was created by rain after the surrounding land collapsed in a process known as subsidence. Following intensive coal mining operations over a period of years, Anhui Province is rich in coal reserves and has been a source of much of the coal used to power the Chinese economy. SunGrow supplied the plant's central inverter unit, which transforms direct current from the solar panels into alternating current and delivered to the local power grid. iDrop News reports. The manufacturer also supplied a customized combiner box that aggregates power from multiple solar panel arrays and sends it to the central inverter. The combiner box has been specifically designed for floating PV plants and can operate in environments with high humidity and salt spray. Hello, Goldfish.
Yep.
I don't think it knows a place that salty or that terrible though. Anyway, unlike the U.S., where government policies are shifting to support more coal mining, yay, and coal burning, power plants, China is committed to leading its coal power past behind and becoming a global leader in renewable energy. It has pledged to invest hundreds of billions of dollars into solar power, as well as wind and hydro by the year 2020. I assume that has something to do with the Paris Agreement we spoke about earlier, and also the coal and stuff has to do with the fact that we're getting out.
Well, that, and also because coal is killing China. Yeah, by all the smog and such.
Oh, yeah. Which, obviously, we're not learning anything.
No, and that's the thing, exactly what we discussed in the beginning, that China would become a world leader in energy. Here you go. China's investing hundreds of billions of dollars into solar power and renewable energies. What are we doing? We're cutting subsidies and tax breaks to green energy.
We're making more cars. Woo!
And we're also shifting more to coal.
Yep.
Which coal damages the environment that the mines are in. And then whenever you burn coal, interesting enough, burning coal produces more nuclear material. Some kind of material.
You mean radioactive?
Radioactive material within nuclear plants. Interestingly enough. Also, the fact that the coal dust and such is not really much used for. Sometimes it's used in concrete or cement. Not really much outside of that. It just piles up for the most part. So
you can't reburn coal dust.
I think there has to be certain amounts of efficiency.
Last year, a 20 megawatt floating solar panel plant, solar power plant, also came online in Anhui Province. This past January, China activated the massive Longjiangjia Dam Solar Park. covering 10 square miles. It generates a whopping 850 megawatts of power, enough for 200,000 households. Let's say that's a lot. Big. It's in its quest to become a world leader in renewable energy. China is putting its money where its mouth is. By the time America figures out that it has been thrown under the bus by Donald Trump on energy, it will have ceded its global leadership in the area to China and will struggle to be anything other than a follower in the future as China reaches financial world.
Again, what do I keep saying?
I will have to counter this though. Fuck Trump because Elon Musk and Tesla and solar cities and all that good stuff. That's going to be the future, probably.
Exactly. So everything I've been saying today has been reiterated by every article talking about it.
Oh, it's like a solar stadium in Texas, baby.
Quite a lot, but the cost is quite high to start.
Very expensive, yeah. Actually, well, there's that, but you can actually get grants and stuff.
Yeah, well, even including the grants, it could cost for me to get.
You also get tax breaks.
Well, yeah, but it still cost me about like $34,000 initially. But it would reduce my costs to nothing. I would actually probably be getting paid to reduce energy. Yeah.
Your turn.
Yes. Saudi Arabia. Lovely, lovely Saudi Arabia. To behead disabled man for taking part in protests after forced confession. Campaigners believe the country's authorities may be emboldened after Donald Trump failed to bring up human rights on a recent visit. So a court in Saudi Arabia upheld a death sentence for a disabled man who was arrested after he attended a campaign, campaigners have claimed. Munir al-Adam, 23, was beaten so badly he lost hearing in one ear during demonstrations in a Shia-dominated east of the country in 2012. Human rights campaigners have slammed the decision, calling it shocking, and demanded the White House intervenes. Mr. Adam was sentenced to death in a secretive trial in the country's specialized criminal court last year. Now an appellate court has decided the sentence should be carried out despite international criticism. Mr. Adam only has the opportunity to appeal the decision once more before King Salam signs his death warrant.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. Munir's case is utterly shocking. The White House should be appalled that our Saudi allies tortured a disabled protester until he lost his hearing and then sentenced him to death on the basis of a forced confession, said Maya Foa, the director of Reprieve, a legal justice charity. Mr. Adam was tortured by the police despite his medical records detailing his disabilities, forced to sign a false confession, campaigner said. He already suffered impaired vision and hearing, which stemmed from a skull fracture after a childhood accident. He was charged with the violent acts at a protest, a Reprieve spokesman told The Independent, but no evidence was produced at his trial other than the signed confession made under duress after his setting. The authorities accused Mr. Adam of sending text, but the manual worker was apparently too poor to own a phone. I mean, clearly this is all fuckery by the state. The decision comes after a recent visit by President Trump to the Gulf state, which is one of the world's most prolific executioners and notorious for its human rights abuses. Yes, it is. It is one of the worst modern, put that in quotes, countries in the world when it comes to human rights abuses. I mean, women can't drive. They're one of the world leaders in beheading people, beating people, and caning people, and just general imprisonment and death. I mean, technically, the United States leads in imprisonment, withholding 25% of the world's prisoners, but Saudi Arabia is still...
Prison in Saudi Arabia is real prison. Prison in America is like an extended stay. That's sweet. Except when you get out, you're absolutely useless because normal society hates you guys.
Actually, there's a story about that. I didn't cover that. Employers are actually starting to hire more convicted criminals because they're desperate for work. The companies are. The companies are desperate for people qualified to do the jobs. So they're hiring criminals who have been released for the positions. They don't have a choice.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that still would rather go to that position than actually hire criminals. Because just the way people are.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean...
There are some that are probably like, kind of being stupid here. This guy went to prison. He got his master's while in prison because you can do that.
Yeah.
Master's, you a doctor.
You can
come out a really smart person.
Yeah, you can come out very qualified.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, I think employers take as apart the crime committed.
Well, I know people that have got DUIs, got denied jobs just because they have a DUI.
Yeah?
I mean, I have plenty of it. In fact, somebody just got denied recently of a job because they had a DUI. It was an IT job. They got denied because they had a DUI from years ago. I'm like,
Benjamin, they go back quite a while.
Yeah. 5 years.
5 years.
Music expunged though. Expunged!
This FOA is no, today's judgment shows that by failing to erase human rights abuses in Saudi Arabia, President Trump has emboldened the kingdom to continue the torture and execution of protesters. The Trump administration must now urgently stand up for American values. They must call for the release of Munir and all others who face execution by simply exercising freedom of expression. After Mr. Trump's trip to Saudi Arabia, Wilbur Ross, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, said there was not a single hint of a protester in the country. This remark, which was widely condemned because of Saudi Arabia's severe restriction on freedom of expression.
We didn't see any, so there must be none.
Exactly. Which is what a ridiculous statement. America, legitimately, America is one of the handful of modern countries in the world that guarantee you freedom of speech in near unlimited measure. In the UK, a modern country, a very modern country, very progressive, very enlightened, they don't have freedom of speech. They don't have freedom of expression. They have something similar, but their speech can be restricted. You say a naughty word in public, oh, there you go, going to jail, or you're being arrested, or something. America needs to stand by the values that it holds. Freedom of speech, freedom of rights, freedom of the press, freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures. These basic core American values and tenets. But when we have so close allies like Saudi Arabia, who commit atrocities on a near daily basis, who do nothing, say nothing, how does it make us look to the world? When the American president goes and visits, but doesn't say a word on clear human rights violations and just a destruction of freedom of speech and expression. What do we stand for if not our rights and liberties, our freedoms? Clearly, the president thinks we don't stand for much.
Not much at all. No, all these 2 year days for me. Bastards! Found them all. Alright. Enhance. Turkey's purges are crippling its justice system. I'm sure this is something to do with basically what we were just talking about. Pretty much. Why is it capitalized? Were he to return to Turkey in the near future? Wait, what? I feel like this is supposed to go with that. President Erdogan's drive for power includes putting judges under his thumb. Were he to return to Turkey in the near future, Salal Kalkanoglu, not his real name, okay,
Kalkanoglu,
would have to do so in handcuffs. They will arrest me as soon as I land at the airport, says the judge. On July 16th of last year, the day after an army faction attempted a coup against Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the president, Mr. Kalakangulu's name appeared on a long list of officials to be dismissed and arrested. With the judge having left Turkey, the authorities went after his family. Some of his relatives were sacked from government jobs, he says, and barred from leaving the country. That's spooky.
So you gotta sneak out of your own goddamn country.
Spooky, scary, scary. More than 4,000 Turkish judges and prosecutors, a quarter of the total, have been dismissed by decree since last summer. mostly because of alleged links to Gulenists, a secretive Islamic movement accused of leading the coup. The vast majority, including 2 members of the Constitutional Court, are in prison. Only a fraction have heard formal charges. Mr. Kalakanoglu, who denies any affiliation with the Gulenists, says the government has used the coup as an excuse to step up a purge of the judiciary that began in late 2013. After a corruption scandal implicated cabinet ministers, I have been blacklisted since 2014, he says. Mr. Erdogan describes the corruption claims as villainous plot. Of course, you just name a random group of people and it's like, it's their fault.
No, it's not a random group of people. It's name everybody who I have a problem with.
Yeah.
It's their
Well, I mean, and call them that. Because they're on that. That's what I'm saying. It's a random group and they're just throwing everybody in that group. That's the problem. Anyway, on May 16th, Mr. Erdogan had a friendly meeting in Washington with Donald Trump as Turkish security guards beat Armenian and Kurdish protesters outside the city. I remember that. We covered that. Mr. Erdogan asked Mr. Trump to extradite Fethullah Gulen, the elderly cleric who runs the movement and has lived in Pennsylvania since 1999. Wow, that guy's been here for a long fucking time.
Well, he escaped Turkey.
Apparently. The 2 leaders also discussed Syria, where Turkey is angry about America's move to arm Kurdish militias fighting against the state. No agreement was reached on either subject, but Mr. Trump praised Turkey's efforts in the fight against terrorism. He said nothing about Mr. Erdogan's increasingly autocratic rule, or about the crackdown that is hollowing out the rule of law in his country. See, what I think it is, he's like secret, like, bro, you gotta teach me how you did that.
Pretty much.
Like, how did you do that? I want to learn. Show me. And then
how do I become dictator?
Yeah, how to dictator. Anyway. In the past, members of Mr. Gulen's movement took over parts of the judiciary and abused their power with the government's blessing. In the late 2000s, the Gulenists worked with Mr. Erdogan's Justice and Development, aka Party, to sideline secular opponents, staging show trials that jail hundreds of army officers, often on the basis of forged evidence. Many of the jurists now under arrest helped carry out the earlier wave of purges, says Mohammed Gunn, head of Better Justice, a non-governmental group. That's right, Better Justice. Yet Mr. Erdogan's new purge is even more extensive. A climate of paranoia has taken hold of courts. Judges and prosecutors are constantly looking over their shoulders, says Metin Fizigulu, head of the Union of Turkish Bar Associations. Justice is now vested in a judge's personal bravery, he says. Those who defy Mr. Erdogan pay a high price. When one court decided to release 21 journalists accused of Gulenist sympathies from pre-trial detention earlier this week, 3 of its judges were suspended. Their ruling was overturned within 24 hours. It's like...
It's called the dictatorship.
Yeah, it's like, you don't agree with my rules, you're out of here. We'll get people to go up. People will definitely step up, because fear. Anyway, things are not about to get better. Under a new constitution adopted by the thinnest of margins in a referendum in April, marked by allegations of fraud, members of top judicial panels will no longer be elected by their peers, but appointed by Mr. Erdogan in Parliament, which is controlled by the AK party. The old system allowed groups like Gulenists to flourish. The new one places the judiciary under Mr. Erdogan's thumb. According to one opposition lawmaker, out of 900 recently appointed judges, 800 have AK lists. As long as elections to top positions are not tied to objective rules, depoliticizing the judiciary will be impossible, says Hasim Khalid, a Chief Justice at Turkey's Constitutional Court until 2015. Meanwhile, cases related to the crackdown under which some 50,000 people have been arrested, more than 110,000 fired, are flooding in. The Constitutional Court has released 75,000 applications for redress since the attempted coup last July, but it's declined to hear any case related to the state of emergency. Instead, the judiciary seems to have other parties. In late April, a Turkish court blocked access to Wikipedia, and some of its posts suggested the government has supported jihadists in Syria. 2 weeks earlier, a prosecutor widely accused several American officials, including a senator, a former CIA chief, and a former prosecutor, of involvement in the coup. Perhaps Mr. Erdogan's warm new relations with Mr. Trump will allow his magistrates to give that investigation a rest. I wonder which former CIA chief, prosecutor, and senator that was. Anyway, that's it. That's all, folks. All, folks.
So, as I was segue into U.S. news.
Read.
Utah cuts DUI alcohol limit to lowest levels in U.S. Law also affects gun owners.
What is the number?
We're about to find out. How low can you go?
Shit.
Utah Governor
5%.
Gary Herbert has signed a bill into law that lowers the maximum blood alcohol limit for drivers to 0.05%.
That's why I think literally like almost one drink.
Probably, yeah.
It's very low. That like means you can't drink more. That's kind of annoying.
From the current legal threshold of 0.08%,
Which is
giving
normal.
Utah the strictest drunken driving law in the nation. In addition to drivers, the law applies to anyone carrying a dangerous weapon. Lowering the limit has been controversial, pitting opponents in the tourism and hospitality industry against backers in health and transportation fields. As member station KUER's Julia Ritchie reports, the governor's office has been inundated with hundreds of calls on the bill, most of them in opposition. NPR reports the American Beverage Institute. That just sounds like it's something that beer companies just pay money to.
No, that is actually a real place. I believe. That's actually the people who developed the BAC system, I believe, and also have studies on LD50, which is equal to 50. And they did the test for all that. Which is, yeah.
The industry says a 120-pound woman can reach 0.05 with little more than one drink.
Told you.
So 2 drinks.
So a little woman. That's a little woman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually, by little, I mean that's your average woman, I think. It's not women are tiny.
The group argues that at that level, a driver is less impaired than a driver talking hands-free on a cell phone. Studies have shown that talking hands-free on a cell phone is nearly as bad as driving drunk.
Hands-free, or just with what if hands-on? Is it worse?
Yes. But yeah, you can use your hands-free because it takes away your distress.
Yeah, no, I totally ran a red light while on Discord one day. It was actually great. I was talking to people as I was on my way home. Making my way down here, running red lights, fucking up. Basically, what happened.
But some public health experts have pushed for stricter limits. As recently as last year, the National Transportation Safety Board recommends that all states drop blood alcohol levels down to 0.05 to deter more people from drinking and driving.
I mean, I don't even do it. I'm sure my blood alcohol has been way over 0.08, especially that one time I drove. But at one time, I was pretty chill. I was pretty mellow.
The law also has repercussions for people who carry guns in Utah. The state allows the open carry of dangerous weapons without a permit, but it restricts that right based on the blood alcohol maximum set for drivers.
I mean, that's not an unreasonable
yeah, no,
thing,
if you're
honestly.
drunk, you probably shouldn't be having a gun in your possession. You'll probably shoot somebody.
Well, but the problem with that is, like, for Texas, which is why I never controversial for Texas. I mean, it's the Wild West here. Everyone's considered carrying just about all the time.
It's actually illegal not to be drunk and carrying a gun.
Pretty much.
That connection prompted the Utah Shooting Sports Council to send an alert to its members urging them to ask Herbert to veto the bill and avoid an ugly hidden Easter egg for gun owners, as it said on its Facebook page. Apparently the legislature never saw the connection between this bill and gun rights, and as such this issue was never debated, the group says in a form letter provided to supporters to send to the governor. Despite being signed, there will likely be more arguments over the new law, which isn't scheduled to take effect until December 30th, 2018. Even as he signed the bill Thursday, Herbert said the state needs to re-examine how it penalizes drivers who are over the limit. But there are some areas of improvement I think are warranted and necessary, the governor said, and we can look at impaired driving and distracted driving and repeat offenders. And for those who in fact have been arrested for DUI on multiple occasions and are punishment, then what are the consequences of the punishment? I mean, this is interesting. I think it certainly would reduce drunken driving. And you also got to consider, it's Utah, so it's full of Mormons. It's a legitimate thing. And
I mean, one DUI, like, is 5 years or something over here in Texas. DUIs don't play here in Texas. Yeah, you get a really long sentence for DUIs.
Like maximum or minimum? Well, I mean, the minimum is that if you get like one DUI.
Those for DWI in Texas are person with conviction of less than a .15. Wait, what? Includes the possible non state to that or a jail sentence from 3 days to 180 days. The driver's license suspension 90 days to 5 days. Let's see. Second offense means maximum fine increases limit of 4,000 or jail time from 30 days to 1 year. And possible license suspension. Third offense makes it $10,000, 2 to 10. So it's at the third, you get 2 to 10. 2 years, then do felony. Another person in the state of increase the minimum jail penalty to 6 months.
Now, one of the things I must say about this is that it says within a felony conviction also disqualifies the person from voting and possessing a firearm. I'm fine with them not being able to possess a firearm. Clearly, they have issues with control. But the right to vote is an inalienable right. You have that right from birth, and nothing should be able to take that away. Regardless if you're fucking drunk and you have DWIs.
So technically, he's got a class. He said it was class B misdemeanor. It's a class A. So he should be fine.
It says right there it can be a class. It's a class B, but if the BAC is 0.5 or more, then it's a class A.
Oh, so his is a class B, which is low. Which is misdemeanors aren't felonies. Misdemeanors are easy to get expunged with the law records. That's not too bad. I had somebody that was put in jail for. He was in jail for maybe a couple of years, so I guess that was his third offense. And his stuff is stuff or whatever. I see fidget spinner.
That's the next story.
My stepdad has one of those.
So we're done here.
Yeah,
so basically, Utah is interestingly cutting it to an extremely low level.
This one?
Yeah, this one. You jump.
Right.
Fidget spinners.
Fucking fidget spinners!
And you get a fidget spinner. And you get a fidget spinner. Everybody gets fidget spinners.
I always knew the fidget spinners were a problem. Now we can cover them.
No, offers non-binding agreement. There's no redeemable value. Can't be redeemed anywhere.
What?
So everybody gets the fidget spinner. Everybody gets the fidget spinner.
Anyway. The Inhabitat. Oh my god, where did you find this? Look at that lady's picture. I bet she's vegan. Jesus Christ. You laugh because you know it's true.
I bet she's vegan.
I mean, look at the name of the place. Inhabitat? Come on. Look at that. Look at that. Vegan. Anyway, fidget spinners. Researchers find dangerous amounts of lead in fidget spinners. This goes to all of you out there, boys and girls. And also, we shit talk fidget spinners every day on stream. The fidget spinners, also known as autism spinners. Fun spinny things. Spindly diddlies. You name it. Talk about it all the time. I need like 20 fidget spinners. Just fidget spinners, baby. I got fidget spinners for my fidget spinners. Anyway. Slideshow, fidget spinners. Okay, all that. Well, okay, fine, I'll read that. Fidget spinners are having a moment. Whoa. That is. It's messed up. Anyway, practically everywhere you go, someone has one twirling on a fingertip or tucked into a pocket. But environmental activist Tamara Rubin recently tested a variety of spinners for lead and mercury. And the results will shock you. Probably not, because most of them are cheap pieces of junk from China. Rubin, an independent lead poisoning prevention advocate, first tested 3 fidget spinners sent to her by a friend with an XRF instrument. 2 were lead-free. One had very high levels of lead and some mercury. She then disassembled a fidget spinner with LED lights and found both lead and mercury. She found 19,000 parts per million of lead, 1,000 parts per million of mercury. These numbers are sobering because scientists consider under 90 parts per million of lead to be the safe threshold for children's toys. According to Rubin,
so did they just paint it with lead paint?
Yeah, but the paint on the LED light spinner contained 334 parts per million of lead, and 155 parts per million of mercury in one test. The unpainted metal base contains 1,562 parts per million of mercury and 2,452 parts per million of lead. All right, so now in 7 Days Society, we're gonna find fidget spinners in this new lead. Hilarious. That's interesting. Ruben later tested 6 more fidget spinners and found a $31 from Yomaxer that contained 42,800 parts per million of lead. Should note ordinary consumers won't have access to an XRF instrument, which can cost around $50,000. She recommends avoiding fidget spinners available for purchase and instead making your own, such as a fidget spinner out of Legos. In an email about her results, Ruben said she's very concerned with the high levels of lead discovered in random testing as the toys were so popular. Of course, she tested 11 fidget spinners in total and found 2 with exceedingly dangerous levels of lead. You can read more about Ruben's testing methods here. So it's just, if a kid just starts slobbing on a fidget spinner, beautiful. That sucks.
Well, coming from China. So.
That's what I said. Where are you at? Oh, you put the thing on the page. Yeah. Want to play the video? People cry.
Enough. California mom and boyfriend tortured and killed her 3-year-old daughter before stuffing body in freezer.
Ooh, sexy. That's hot.
There's the 2 people. A Napa, California mother and her boyfriend were convicted Tuesday of killing her 3-year-old daughter, who was found partially frozen at the couple's apartment after her body was put in the freezer. Sarah Lynn Kruger, 27, and her 29-year-old boyfriend, Ryan Scott Warner, were both found guilty of first-degree murder with the special circumstance of torture in the death of Kaylee Slusher, who died from multiple blunt force injuries. The fatal injury caused a rupture in her small intestine. The couple was also found guilty of abuse of a child under 8 causing death. Both of the verdicts were read Tuesday. Sentencing is scheduled for July 27th. Both potentially face life without the possibility of parole. Their attorneys could not be reached for comment, and it was not immediately clear if they planned to appeal. This was a really emotionally difficult case. Napa Valley Deputy District Attorney Kezia.
What's it, Keisha Lynn?
Keisha Lynn.
Sounds Asian.
I don't know. We co-prosecuted the case with Deputy District Attorney Lance Haffenstein. Tells people it was pretty horrific, the things that happened to her. The investigation began in 2014 when Napa police received a 911 call from the couple's friend on February 1st to check on Kaylee's welfare. The friend later told police that he went over to the couple's apartment the night before and discovered Kaylee was dead. He didn't want any part of it, so he told them to call the police. They did not call the police, so he took it upon himself to call. Once inside the apartment, the police found Kaylee's body in her bed. She was partially frozen. She was in the freezer for at least a number of hours. Her body was extremely cold to the touch when the officer found her. We don't know for sure how long she was in the freezer. Yeah, that's part of the problem, is that freezing bodies makes it difficult to determine time of death. Yep. Lynn said she was placed in the regular freezer atop the fridge, the little freezer. Yeah. According to Lynn, Kruger and Warner had fled earlier that morning before police arrived, but the pair was arrested the following day, shortly after a woman spotted them at an IHOP restaurant. Okay. Lynn said police found searches of Kruger's cell phone for the most populous cities in the United States.
Yes.
An autopsy determined that the young girl had 41 distinguishable injuries to the exterior of her body. God damn. I mean, look at that poor girl. I mean, look at her. She looks so happy and lifelike. And they killed her and tortured her.
Yep.
She had severe injuries to and bruises to her head, essentially just all over her arm, all of her body, arms, legs, torso, buttocks, and stuff. The medical examiner described the amount of pain and suffering she would have been in during the time she was dying. It wasn't a quick process. She believes the beatings began months earlier. It appears most of the abuse took place the month or two prior to her being killed, she says. The couple told authorities they thought Kaylee had died after she drank something that was poisonous. Neither of them have had any legitimate explanation for the multitude of bruises and injuries on her body. During the trial, Warner's defense attorney, Mervyn C. Bernhardt Jr., argued that there was no evidence that his client abused the child or knew anything about the abuse. During closing arguments, Kruger's attorney, Jim McGinty, put the blame on Warner, alleging that he was the one responsible for the fatal blow that killed Kate, according to the paper. McGinty said that Kruger had used methamphetamine leading up to the death of her daughter. So basically, both the lawyers are trying to pin it on the other when it's a joint effort. And interestingly enough, women are actually the number one killers of children. Yes, it's actually quite an interesting statistic. But yes, women are more likely to kill their child.
Not interesting, I mean, to me, because everyone knows that all bitches are crazy. That's just a standard.
I just read a crazy story on Imager that was posted on Twitter. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah, all bitches
Super
are
crazy.
crazy. It's just depending on how
I'll
crazy.
tilt here. So, I'll briefly tilt here. So, this guy gets with this girl. This girl's fucking crazy. Everybody knows she's crazy. He gets with her anyways. She's kind of hot.
Sounds like my life. Anyway, carry on.
And, so, needless to say, they meet in high school, they've been lab partners, whatever. They talk, exchange numbers, they call a date. Great, they dated. Yeah. They date for a bit. He wants to break up. She threatens to hurt himself. They stay together.
Oh, it's one of those.
They go to prom. He becomes prom king. She does not. She becomes prom queen. So, whenever they go to take pictures together, she's just like, nah, bitch, you better back off. I'm the prom queen. And, like, he's super possessive. Yeah, nobody cares, people. So, then he's like, shit, this bitch is crazy. But I still want to be with her. Needless to say, some other shit goes down. They go to a family reunion. And she's still continuing to be crazy. And then she goes there accusing some cousin of his and her aunt and his aunt of either of them having a relationship with him. And he's like, bitch, that's my aunt. She's 52. Which is just like crazy. So then,
at some point I would have dumped a long time ago. Bitch, hurt yourself. Kill yourself. It's not my life. I mean, I'm the one of those people who could probably live with that, because I don't really care. If it's the point of me, like, disconnecting completely, just like, bye.
And then he's like, okay, so...
You can't be one of those weak-willed, spineless motherfuckers that just lets a woman bully you into a relationship for the rest of your life, kind of like this story.
Yeah, so
Carry
basically, he's like, he's thinking, well, she's not in the right state of mind to be driving, or to go somewhere alone. So
Definitely not.
So, he gets into the car with her. Excuse me.
Please tell me he drives into a lake and drowns both.
He gets in as a passenger. Huh? He gets in as a passenger.
He doesn't drive. He says she's not in the right state of mind to be driving,
But he doesn't
drive.
No. So then she's like, I'm acting crazy if you don't love me. If you break up with me, I'm going to kill myself, and I'm taking you with me because I love you. So then she proceeds to go and jump into the other side, oncoming traffic. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, bitch, be crazy. I'm going to stay with her and just tell her I love her and get out of this shit.
Reasonable thing to do.
Because car.
Yeah.
So,
or just take the hit. Just brace yourself. Just let go and enjoy the ride. Do it, bitch.
At some point,
no balls.
Yeah. So then she goes into the proper lane and they stay together.
Surprised she didn't get knocked up on the side. The dude probably wasn't fucking her.
No, he wasn't. They never fucked the entire time.
Good fucking my man. But she was really hot. Like, see, that's where I would not be able to resent. Like,
don't stick your dick in crazy.
Don't stick your dick in crazy. I can verify that bad shit happens, but usually, if you're like me, it just kind of bounces off and just goes away.
Yeah. So
I'm immune to that.
Basically,
shit.
It reaches a tipping point to where she just tip everybody. Literally the tipping point. Anyways, actually, this happened at the end of the story.
Oh shit! All right.
So basically, they reach a point where he's like, "I can't do this anymore," and then he's like, "Maybe she just wants to be."
Yes, my man.
So he gives her the tea.
And then she just goes more crazy.
No, she actually mellows out for a little while.
That's what it is.
And then it's like their 1.5-year anniversary.
God damn.
Yeah, this is this guy's. And he goes, he gets flowers, chocolates. They have a nice night. He goes to her house, and he sees a random truck out there. He's like, I don't recognize that truck. So then he had like a key to the house. So he unlocks the door, goes in, and he sees the girl with his female cousin that she supposedly met at the family reunion. They were fucking.
I mean, like lesbian fucking, I
Yes,
guess?
lesbian.
Okay. I was like, so the like, they were fucking how? But that's interesting. And then at that point, he was just like...
At that point, he actually drops her officially straight up. And then there's like some little family reunion.
And his cousin's dating her now.
Comes the crazy chick comes out with the cousin, and I was like, hold up, everybody, she's got an announcement to make.
Oh, Lord.
So then the girl gets down on one knee, and then proposes to the guy, the crazy chick proposes to the guy that broke up with her. He's like, "Will you marry me?" And he's like, "No, crazy bitch, no." And then she goes back to the cousin that she's dating, and he's like, "Will you marry me?" And she's like, "Yes."
Oh my
Needless
God.
to say, they get married in July, and he's gonna update that post, so it'll be interesting.
Well, she just wants to stick around in his life. Man.
She's fucking crazy.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. So,
woo! Remember the hot crazy matrix. Let me pull up the picture real quick.
Oh god.
I won't pull up the video. You watch the damn video. I'll pull up the picture. Hot Crazy Matrix 2. That's a shit. So we're gonna explain this with the drawing. Alright, here's the actual drawing. So there are 10 hot, which sounds like this was an 8 to 10 hot, but she was also inadvertently a 10 crazy. Danger zone, baby. A 10 out of 10. 10s are always 10s. That's just how it works.
Okay, so I'm guessing
this is the line where they actually are, basically.
So she's probably about, I'd say, 6 or 7.
What? Hotness?
No, yeah, hotness, but definitely a 10 on the crazy.
Yeah. So, like, somewhere over here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right here. But in the danger zone! Anyway, yeah, that's pretty fun.
And it's so funny. There's like, if they're negative crazy, but they're above an 8, they're a tranny.
Yeah, if they're negative crazy, but above an 8, they're a tranny. Because, I mean, as the guy states, there is no 0 crazy. Every woman starts off at least a 4. Because all bitches are crazy. Anyway.
Okay. Enough of that.
Yes,
this
enough
will be an
of the
story.
Scientific representation. Do it.
The next story will be.
Okay. Alright. For some reason, my left side of my headset hurts. So,
yeah, I think this video is only mono audio.
Is this mine?
Yeah, you have to enhance it more.
Do I? I mean,
if you enhance more, that sidebar will go away.
Oh, sweet. Fuck yeah. Threat closes Evergreen State College amid high race tensions.
Yes, shit's going down at Evergreen.
Evergreen State College closed on Thursday after a threat of violence. College officials did not release specific information about Thursday's threat. There have been multiple incidents of racial tension on campus, including a demonstration last week.
I think you jumped in.
Did I?
Fucking hell, these pieces of shits and they're updating stories.
Is yours? Which one is update? Update yours, refresh?
Actually, I want to see. Okay, yeah, I think yours is there, but let me refresh.
What is it?
10:30. Okay, you're gonna have to refresh. Fucking hell, they updated it twice.
Alright, yeah, there you go. What? I mean, I only literally pulled this tab out a minute ago. Updated June 1st at 6:48 p.m. Something I don't think.
Yeah, that's no way that's right.
Nope. Fuck off. Don't play this video. Oh, there we go. Alright. About 10:30 a.m. Thursday, a person called claiming to be armed and en route to the campus Olympia. The call was made from an unknown telephone number to a regular business line at the Thurston County Communications Center, a college spokesman said. College President George Bridges closed campus after receiving the information from police. Students and faculty were notified of the closure by an emergency text system and a campus-wide speaker system. Buildings were searched and no one was determined to be an active threat. Olympia Police, Thurston County Sheriff's deputies, and State Patrol troopers all responded. And Evergreen staff is in contact with Federal Bureau of Investigation. The school's technically on suspended operations. Staff are present to provide campus services and ensure safety. Police are also on campus. There have been multiple incidents of racial tension on campus, including a demonstration last week. The threat also comes after a multicultural group suggested white people leave for a day of absence.
No, it was Black Lives Matter suggested.
Which they said was meant to be a non-racist effort. That doesn't sound non-racist.
Well, that's how these fucking idiots think. It's like, how can we be non-racist? White people have to go. And reparations.
Additional context on the day of absence below. But it's not clear if Thursday's threat had a tie to any previous demonstrations or probably did. Key developments. Temperatures are high. Students allege racism. Protest administration at the Evergreen State College.
Yes, because the administrators were attempting to defend the black group that promoted this event.
Rashida Love, director of the First People's Multicultural Advising Service Program, sent an email asking for some white students to volunteer not to be on campus for an anti-racist day of absence event. Yeah, that just sounds racist. I mean, I would be like, and even me, of all people, that just didn't care about anything. I mean, if it was like an excused absence, I would take it, honestly. If it wasn't an excused absence, then I'd be like...
It probably wasn't.
Yeah. I was going to say, if it was an excused absence, dude, fuck that. 3 days of absence for people being stupid? I don't really care. Be stupid. I'm white. I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm Hispanic.
Motherfucker, you white as a ghost. Why is that fucking sheet over there over that doorway? I mean, don't look at man on the inside. Wait, you're a fucking Twinkie. Except you're not yellow, so they can't use that. What's brown and wild on the inside? Kolache? No.
People generally use like a coconut.
Yes, coconut. But you're not like
super hairy. Brown.
You're not super hairy, you're not that brown. I mean, I've got as much hair as you do. Except on the other side, man. Completely bare.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. But anyway, I'm sure we'll go. It's just like black people that are white on the inside of Oreos. Then you have the inside out Oreos. Then you have like the fudge covered Oreos. It's like white on the outside, but black, and then white back on the inside again.
Okay.
Anyway, I figured people would love that explanation a little bit. Professor Brett Weinstein, then sent back an email saying that asking white students to stay off campus is an act of oppression in and of itself. Which is true. In wake of race protests at Evergreen, one lawmaker proposes to make it private. But
make the college private.
Oh. So then they can do whatever the fuck they want, I guess?
I guess so.
College spokesman said a threat of violence caused the school to shut down. What school leader said about this? College spokesperson Zach Powers. Sounds like a fucking amazing. Yo, it's your man Zach Powers here. Woo! Let's get this thing going.
I don't know. It reminds me of Austin Powers.
That too. But still, sounds like a good, like, fucking, like, cheery, fucking, I'm a good communicating, charismatic guy name. Anyway, said only that a threat of violence prompted the shutdown in a news conference on Wednesday. Leaders said they learned about the non-specific threat from law enforcement. When asked about rumors of white supremacists calling in the Vice President of College Relations, Sandra Kaiser, she did not know.
Such a Kaiser.
Kaiser also said the school doesn't know if the threat is connected to recent racial tensions on campus. There's nothing that I know of that connects these things directly, but of course, we live in troubled times. And you've got to take public safety as a top priority for everybody. Yes. June is a busy time for students on campus as end of the quarter exams and presentations are being completed. According to school leaders, the school has not decided whether they will open up Friday. Firing funds making national headlines. Events at the college have attracted national attention in recent weeks. Protests in mid-May in response to campus police questioning black students, according to a report in the Cooper Point Journal, the college's student newspaper. Students said they were protesting institutional racism. A group of protesters sent the following statement in a news release to the Olympian last week. It started out as anti-black comments on social media, has turned into the dismissal of the rights of students and feminists, whatever, of color, physical violence by police, and false sentencing of students protesting. Black, trans, disabled students are
the most oppressed. The most oppressed.
Oh my god! It happened, Kenneth. It fucking happened. I can't. I don't even know.
This is too much.
Holy shit! Is this something we've talked about before?
Yes.
God,
That is the most impressive.
That's literally some stupid shit we said. Are being sought out and confronted by campus police constantly. Police are refusing
black trans disabled students are being actively sought out and confronted by campus police.
Police are refusing to explain their actions and harassment. Students will not stand for this anymore, and students of color have never felt comfortable on campus and have not been treated equally.
Woo! I'm so glad they bring the most oppressed group of people to the forefront.
Yep. Anyway, tensions have reached a new high after public airing of an email exchange between school employees over a planned Day of Absence events. The Day of Absence, based on a play by the same name, dates back to the 1970s at Evergreen. The day is part of 2 days of race and equality-related events, and in previous years, minority students voluntarily left for an on-campus discussion. Okay, so it's saying they voluntarily left, and that's what it was. I mean, I guess that's also fucked up on the side of racism for the minority students.
Well, I mean, they're leaving for conferences that aren't hosted there.
Oh, well then that makes more sense. This year, that event was swapped. White students were asked to leave and minority students remain on campus, but the event had space for 200 students, only a fraction of the roughly 4,800 overall student body, Carter said. Rashida Love, director of the First People's National Multicultural Advising Services Program, sent an email asking for white students volunteering not to be on campus for the event. To leave the college more open for students of color, Carter said. Professor Brett Weinstein then sent back an email that asking white students to stay off campus is an act of oppression in and of itself.
Now then, if I may intersect.
Sure, go ahead. Intersex is the best time. Interspecies.
Okay, so let's break it down. So the college has traditionally hosted minority-focused events off campus, probably at venues that could hold the amount of people they expect to arrive. And now they want to flip that by hosting it on campus at a place that can only host 200 students. So, when you have a population of 5,000 students, 200 a space for 200 is not enough, depending on your population of minority and how many people you're supposed to attend. Having white people not there isn't going to free up random ass spaces. If you have a space set and it can only host 200 people, and it's for multicultural, ethno, whatever the fuck shit people, white people can still be there. They don't have to go to your stupid conference or whatever. They have class to attend, exams to do, finals to finish. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody got time for your stupid bullshit about how white people can't be here. With your old school racist shit. Anyways, continue.
Some students have since protested Weinstein, calling him a racist and asking the administration to fire him. Videos circulated of protesters confronting Weinstein have shown tense and sometimes angry moments. Weinstein has gone to Fox News to talk about the controversy and penned an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. In the wake of race protests at Evergreen, one lawmaker proposes to make it private. A Republican state Anyway, a Republican state lawmaker from Eastern Washington on Wednesday blasted recent protests alleging racism at the Evergreen State College and said he wants to legislature to privatize the school. He's also calling for an investigation to see if civil rights laws have been broken by college actions. I mean, that's actually nice for a fucking Republican person. Republican Matt Manwiller, Republican Ellensburg plans to...
Well, no. I mean, it's surprising that a Republican would be doing this, but it's not a good action.
I mean, it's not necessarily a wrong action.
Well,
if they're having problems like this.
No, because he wants the school to be able to discriminate.
No. Privatizing, it may or may not be right or wrong, depending on who's doing what and whatever the fuck.
I mean, if civil rights laws have been broken...
But the investigation of civil rights laws needed at this point, probably. Plans to introduce a bill Thursday that would ratchet down... Hold the fucking phone. Ratchet? You didn't think I wouldn't see what you did there? Ha ha! White people. Anyway, carrying on. Ratchet down state funding for Evergreen over 5 years, he said in an interview. Why would you fucking cut their funding?
Because they can't be privatized if they're not if they're funded.
You know, the bullshit with that is they're funded still, even though they're privatized a lot.
Well, they get like federal funding from like Pell Grants and FAFSA and such. But I mean, private colleges get that too.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
Anyway, he also sent a letter Wednesday to the State Human Rights Commission asking Executive Director Sharon Ortiz to take action to correct discriminatory practices or policies of colors. I mean, that is all fine and dandy. His bill has little chance of passing, especially as lawmakers are embroiled in their second special session over a court-ordered fix to public schools. The commission is not launching any investigation into it, Ortiz said Wednesday. Manweller called the move a figurative shot across the bow to school administration and protesters that says, hey, the people that are funding you are watching and they're not happy. Some Democrats already are rejecting the bill. The bill really exists yet. The party has a majority in the state house. It's Coma News streaming contributed to this for day of absence from 2 days.
Let's roll this video.
This one?
Yeah.
That's right, but it's off. I just want to say, most of these people look like SJW and hipsters.
You know, I don't see any black trans disabled people in there.
I see a fucking dude with man bun though. I mean, that's a dude, long hair.
I can appreciate it.
I know, right? No, it's a chick.
It is a chick.
The girl's like, what the fuck? I love that facial reaction. It's like, camera?
Your black trans disabled students.
If you listen in the background, this is like written in a way that's like totally not for black folk. Did you hear that?
I did.
You didn't. Because while that bitch was talking, I can also listen to multiple different things. So I was listening to the speaker, and he's just saying, "Dude, let's roll this back so you can hear that." Pay attention.
This what's not for black folk?
This is written very, in a way, language-wise, not for black folk.
Okay, so we need to speak Ebonics then.
Yo, man! Anyway, I mean, we go into that.
That's too cogent.
There you go. I just watch this.
Look at, hold on, pause this. There's your black trans disabled guy.
I don't know if he's disabled. But I guess
he's an SJW, that's a disability.
I mean, it's definitely a mental disability at this point.
There you go.
But, I mean, I wonder if that's going to become on that laundry as a thing. SJW, hipster.
Look at his eyes. I'm telling you, he's black trans disabled. And his bow in the air, hair shit. I'm telling you, there's your black trans disabled guy that's getting, hurt by the racist system.
That was ridiculous. Alright, dead. Dead to me.
Oh, Evergreen.
That's a fun one.
Yes, it is.
They're killing your fucking children's rates since, forever.
So, business license required for teens to cut grass. Now, I know what you're thinking, folks. Really now. You gotta get a license to cut grass? Yes. Birmingham, Alabama. Teens in Gardendale are in for a rude awakening this summer when it comes to cutting grass. According to the city's ordinance, you must have a business license now. Teenagers have been threatened by officials and other lawn services to show their city-issued license before cutting a person's lawn for extra summer cash.
I just want to chime in here that the lawn services are getting butthurt that they're not making hundreds of dollars off these poor saps instead of paying $20 to some kid that probably just wants the cash because their parents are like, well, boy, if you gotta get
money, get a job.
Go get out there and earn that money. Man, when I was a kid, I just walked down the street with a lawnmower. By the way, I tried to do
it was one of those ones that had like a circular like rotating blades.
Yeah, that's still a lawnmower.
I mean, yeah, but
that's a lawnmower.
That's a push mower.
They're all push mowers. It's a
and then somebody has a riding mower for some reason.
It's a machine operated. You are the machine.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, like even alright, so I'll pretext this. I tried doing that even here in my hometown, in this neighborhood where this house is. And I've lived in this house, before now I moved back in or whatever. But I lived in this house for like 15 years of my life. And like I went around, door to door for a lot of people. I got denied so many times. I don't even think I got to cut anybody's yard around here. And most of these are old people that like cut their yard every Saturday or like every 2 days.
That's the only reason they get out.
Pretty much. Other than like a couple guys that walk. But anyway, yeah. And then like we have neighbors next door that have a completely unkempt lawn. And then I get out there and I'm like, hey, your grass looks pretty tall. And they're just like, looks outside the door. No, it doesn't. I'm like, what? And then a day later you see them making their son mow the lawn. And I'm like,
hey, it's free labor.
What's funny is anyway, there was a fun side conversation about real life.
Okay. Cutting grass is often one of the first jobs many have in the summer. But a business license in Gardendale costs $110.
I mean, that's not too bad.
I mean, if you have no money, that's a lot of money.
So that means you gotta like fucking, yo kid, I'll pay you on the side.
You gotta sign us.
You just gotta, hey kid, I want you to mow my yard. Don't tell anybody.
And for a job just for a couple months, that's a bit extreme.
Which it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never heard of a child cutting grass having to have a business license, said Nelson Campbell. Campbell's granddaughter cuts grass around the neighborhood. She charges one lady $20, another lady $30, and another girl $40, besides what we pay her. For her, this was the perfect summer gig, just helping out and raising money for admissions and trips, said Elena Paris. But now it's become a hassle. One of the men that cuts several yards made a remark to one of our neighbors that if he saw her cutting grass again, he was going to call Gardendale because she doesn't have a business license. He's coming after a kid when a kid is trying to at least trying to do work. There are kids at home on iPads and electronics not wanting to go outside. Mayor Stan Hogan said when operating a business for pay within the city limits, you must have a business license. He said sending someone after a child making extra money over the summer is not a priority, but he's committed to finding a way to make this less of an issue for teens. Yeah, I can tell you how to make this less of an issue for teens. Is to reduce the damn price.
Or
set certain age limits to where the license is free.
Yeah, or license doesn't apply. I mean, something like that. Because, I mean, kids, most of the time, kids
I think honestly, like a $20 limit, a $20 business limit for people under the age of 18, that'd be probably reasonable.
I mean, except for, like, if I'm, like, for instance, alright, so, another story. I was a little entrepreneur when I was a kid. I told you this, I think, already.
Yeah.
But at work. What I'm going to say is live. Me and my friends, a street over, we started running a snow cone stand. They had an ice shaver. I was, like, mainly the muscle of going and grabbing bags of ice from the local corner store. But, which is a challenge to do that on a bike, but I'm amazing at bike riding anyway. Either way, so we did it, and we made good money. I mean, I continued to tell them, reinvest in more, like, sauces and everything. I mean, we did really good. I don't think we did good enough to be like, that.
No, you need a business license.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we did good enough to pay for a $25 business license, even if it was $25.
Yeah, but I think some kids can have talk to their parents and I need $25.
Well, the ladies, the girls' parents, basically helped support us the whole time.
Yeah,
it was nice. But it was a good time as a kid, and we made good money, and we made everybody else on the street happy. We enjoyed ourselves, and we ate something. It was just a good time.
I mentioned the story to my parents, and they said it was probably for a legal thing, because if you have a business license, that means your information is accessible, and if you fuck up or steal something, then there's something that can be referenced.
Maybe that's true.
Which that still wouldn't make a difference if the license was free, because that means they could still get the information that they need. You steal something or something like that.
Yep.
So, like I said, people under the age 18 make a free business license. The license itself for any business is not much. But for a teenager, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. That's a lot of dosh, mate.
Yeah. So, it doesn't really cost the business as much. Then why bother?
That's kind of interesting. How much does a business license cost? Did you say $1,000 for a business?
No.
I thought that was a state cost.
That's registered in LLC.
Yeah. Which would be the way to go.
Which is the way to go, yes.
I need to think about doing it and then just run around. Can you change the business name very often, or does it have to just be one and you have to continue to make new ones?
You can rename it.
Really? Okay. Sweet. Maybe I should make one of these days. I don't know. $1,000 is a lot of money to drop just for a name. But I can be like, David Business and Associates. LLC.
And then you can take out a bunch of credit cards, go into massive debt, business-wise, and be like, it's my company's debt. I'm not a holder of it. And then try to charge me that bankruptcy.
I feel like that would cause a problem somewhere.
Well, that's how vulture capitalists work. They go into a company.
Vulture? What venture?
Vulture.
Yeah.
They hit companies that are failing, load them up with debt, have them declare bankruptcy, and leave.
This is really fucked up.
It is. Oh yeah, they like Mitt Romney. A lot of that came to prominence when he was running for presidency because Bain Capital was a vulture capitalist. But, yeah,
that's interesting. God damn, my phone is going off for 20 times. Jesus Christ. I've got 7 new messages. I'm saying.
Popular. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there you go. This is all just a stupid Eddie. Yes. Now Mayor
I just want to highlight this specifically.
Says that it's just unfortunate that issues as small as a teen cutting grass trigger
Anyway.
These types of complaints. He says
which basically rolls back to the last story. Trigger.
He says he doesn't want this to discourage kids from trying to earn money. Yep. Well, it's gonna. I mean, just imagine if these kids get caught and then now we're gonna fine you $500. Then what do? You can't fight it in court because that's the law.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I like this one because people love this one.
Yeah, people would.
42,000 off food stamp rolls after Alabama implements work requirements. I think a lot of places have work requirements. Change in Alabama rules has moved tens of thousands of people off the state's food stamp rolls. Yeah. A rule change designed to get able-bodied adults off food stamps has reduced the number of Alabamians. Weird. Okay, I've never actually.
It's an Alabama paper, so
Alabamians, those Alabamians are gonna get
those Albanians
receiving assistance by tens of thousands in the last year. On January 1st, 2016, there were 49,940 able-bodied adults without dependents utilizing the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, or food stamps. That number dropped to 15,375 people as of May 1st, 2016, and down to 7,483 as of May 1st, 2017, according to Barry Spear, Public Information Manager at
he's spearing the way
of the Alabama Department of Human Resources. The change is due to the expiration of a federal waiver that permitted work requirement exemptions for able-bodied adults who are receiving food stamps. Now, all SNAP recipients aged 18 to 49 who aren't disabled or raising minor children are required to work at least part-time to be eligible for it. Yeah, that kind of sucks. So now, you have to at least be working part-time. I understand, Texas has the thing where you have to continue to apply for things.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, shit, there's a lot of times you don't get accepted to a ton of jobs.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, I mean, we've applied for dozens of jobs.
they're all full-time. I'm sure if I
They're all
applied for some
full-time.
part-time jobs and, like, let myself get screwed over, then I'd get accepted.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Part of this, kind of part of that is that it never said you had to be qualified for the jobs. It just said you had to apply. You could apply for like a CEO level positions and just continue the benefits.
Yeah.
That's like a stupid system. I mean, I understand why it has to be that way because, you know, the state can't go micromanage everybody's like, well, we need your resume, you can only apply to this, and jobs. But it's
well,
just...
there's usually it's like mainly stuff off the work source, which usually has like very low tier jobs. The work sources usually have really kind of shitty jobs normally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of employers post there. And I mean, that's
I
good.
haven't actually checked the work source.
I haven't, but that's because it's useless. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying because it's usually low tier jobs. There is no IT tech jobs, and if they are there, they're probably really shitty places to go.
There are county jobs.
What?
The county job.
Really?
I don't know, but imagine it probably would best there.
Oh yeah, because well, it's a state agency. I don't know. Where did your mom find it?
Probably there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which I remember I called and I applied. Good thing you didn't apply.
Yeah, no, so maybe she goes talk to friends. Like, they're paying $11 an hour. Can't have.
Is that what you told your mom?
Yeah.
No, because I told you about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been worth it to get out of all this hell, and it still would have been
like I told her, I could go back to like 1850. I think I could do that. I'd have to cut a lot, and it would be terrible, but I think it'd be possible.
I just don't want to. I would at least. I mean, maybe I should like lower my standards to Austin and at least just be like accept this much pay because everything around here basically costs almost the same already. I mean, I'm paying fucking for this house. I mean, this is a 1-bedroom apartment rent for this house, which sucks, but it's what I'm paying for. Anyway, that's real life crap that we'll eventually bitch about in the long term. Probably 5 years from now when we're still stuck in the same place, honestly. Anyway, the change due to the currently able-bodied adult SNAP recipients are limited to 3 months of benefits within a 3-year time frame unless they are working or participating in an approved training program for at least 20 hours a week. Some exemptions are available for those who are physically or mentally unable to work, are pregnant, or caring for somebody who is physically or mentally disabled, is a student, or is participating in a drug or alcohol treatment program.
So, hey, here people come.
Hey. The work requirement is not in place in 13 Alabama counties: Greene, Hale, Perry, Dallas, Lowndes, Wilcox, Monroe, Conca, Clark, Washington, Choctaw, Sumter, and Barber, due to the high unemployment rate in those areas. I was going to say, the places with super high unemployment. According to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, 851,000 Alabamians, or roughly 7% of the state's population, receive SNAP benefits in 2016. Of those, 71% are families with children, 32% are families with members who are elderly or have disabilities, and 40% are in working families. The average monthly SNAP benefit for each household member was $123.
That's nothing.
That is literally nothing.
That is nothing.
Not enough to
no, that is not.
That's enough for each of the. Well, SNAP is only for food stamps.
Yeah.
That's enough per person to feed everybody.
But you're not getting good food. You're not getting healthy foods.
Well, yeah, because you can't.
Oh, yeah, but that's the problem. You know, then they wonder, why do we have such an obesity epidemic? Well, when people are getting, $123 that has to be able to feed a week, a month.
That's per person.
Yeah, that's per person.
For each household member.
But I mean, if you think about it, so
I can survive on $120.
Yeah, but break it down. So if you have 3 kids, so if there's 3 people in your family, so that means you're getting, $369 a month.
That's pretty good, man.
But then you break it down, day to day, that's about $10, give or take, a day. Now, that's $10 that you have to be able to produce at least a breakfast and a dinner, and I don't know about other family members, but if they're not working, perhaps maybe a lunch. So that means that's about $4 to $5 per meal for 3 people.
That's not too bad.
For 3 people? You can feed 3 people on $5?
No.
That's the total amount. I added it up. Yes. Bring up a calculator if you want to check.
It's just $123 per person. So what is calculatrix? Well,
That's $369.
Yeah, no, but what you're not understanding here is
But that's per month.
133 divided by 30. It's $4 a day per person for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
But I want to raise you the fact that I've lived off of $120 easy. You just go to the store and you buy foods and you cook food. I was able to buy 2 different meats. I bought multiple pounds of chicken, at least a 3-pound log of hamburger meat, and then I bought some shitty box meals because it's like really deal with because it's easy enough. And that's all I ate. And then I saved it and I took it for lunch and I just continued to eat everything. And I survived easily for all that much.
Yeah, but I mean, a family with proper nutrition.
Well, it's not that the nutrition really wasn't proper for me. I was actually so kind of skinny. It wasn't until I had a woman move in and then women move in. Let's try all these other things. Sure, why not? And then we also went out to eat all the time. And I've still continued that trend.
Yeah, but that's $4 per day.
That's $4
So
per
that
day.
means, so that's $12 per day. That's $6 still. That's $6 per day for 2 meals, for breakfast and dinner. So if you're going to tell me you can produce, a healthy meal for 3 people at $6,
but that's breaking it down per day. You can't really spend $6 per day on a meal. No matter what.
I know. It's a cumulative thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. You spend the $300.
But then the problem is that
$339.
these people are never taught how to spend appropriately.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say. If you take $339 per month and you spend it at the store reasonably, like you can do that. I mean, I have friends that are on
it'd be possible. It wouldn't be absolutely great, but it's certainly possible.
It's fantastically fine, depending on what you buy. If you don't buy
overpriced
bullshit.
These welfare recipients, they're buying lobster and steak.
On a lot of these other things, Snap and Wick doesn't work on something, or a large portion of things, actually.
Yeah, luxury items doesn't really work on.
Yeah. I mean, even if you go to the store and buy food things. Reminds me, my fucking prosciutto is like the first of the work. We get that tomorrow, I guess. It's so good. It was Friday, right? Yeah. It'll be fine. If it's not, it's whatever. Anyways,
moving.
Yep, moving on up.
So, U.S. Air Force vet gets 35 years prison. Just 35 years prison. Does that mean does he get a 35-year prison? Is the prison 35 years old? Has he been awarded it? Does he have the deed?
Go asshole. I don't think it's how that works.
We're trying to join ISIS. A U.S. Air Force veteran convicted for attempting to join ISIS was sentenced Wednesday to 35 years in prison, CNN. Tavrad Hug, 49, from New Jersey, was found guilty in 2016 on federal charges of trying to give material support to ISIS and obstruction of justice, according to the U.S. Justice Department of indictment. The defendant turned his back on his country and the military he once served to attempt to join a brutally violent terrorist organization committed to the slaughter of innocent people throughout the world, acting United States Attorney Bridget Rode said in a statement released on Wednesday. Prosecutors had presented evidence that the former aircraft mechanic was traveling from Egypt to Turkey in January 2015. Investigators say Pug was carrying a laptop computer and 4 USB drives that he had stripped of their plastic casings in an effort to destroy their contents and thereby make them unavailable to investigators. He was denied entry, and Turkish authorities returned him to Egypt. Foreign government officials quickly deported Pug to the United States, where the FBI closely monitored him, relying in part on a covert undercover employee who encountered Pug in New York's JFK International Airport, according to the Justice Department. Pug was arrested on January 2015 in Ashbury Park, New Jersey. Prosecutors also alleged the investigators discovered a letter on Pug's computer saying that he wanted to use the talents and skills given to him by Allah to establish and defend the Islamic States, and a charge of crossing points between Turkey and Syria where ISIS controls some territory. Pug, a convert to Islam, served in the Air Force from 1986 to 1990.
So, what?
Yes. According to the Justice Department, Pug traveled from Egypt to Turkey in 2015 in an effort to cross the border into Syria to join ISIS to engage in violent jihad, according to the statement from the Justice Department. In addition to the laptop, Pug was also carrying solar power chargers, compasses, a black baklava, and clothing suitable for war-torn Syria. What kind of clothing is suitable for war-torn Syria?
I assume it's like
shorts,
Haji wear. I don't know.
A lot of white clothing. One piece of evidence was a letter Pug wrote just before leaving from Turkey. I am a mujahid. I am a sword against the oppressor and a shield for the oppressed. Sounds like an Ashadelian. I will only use the talents. I will use the talents and skills given to me by Allah. Allah to establish and defend the Islamic State. There is only two possible outcomes for me: victory or martyr. Pug wrote in the note, prosecutors say. In Turkey, authorities were suspicious Pug was heading for Syria, denied him entry, and sent him on a return flight to Egypt, U.S. officials say. While detained in Egypt, authorities found that he was carrying 4 USB thumb drives that had been stripped of their plastic casings, and an iPod that had been cleaned of data. He was then deported to the United States where FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force got a warrant for his devices. The FBI found the letter, as well as recent internet searches for ISIS propaganda videos. Pug was trained in installing and maintaining aircraft engines, navigation, and weapon systems, according to the Justice Department. Eric Kreisman, Pug's lawyer, said at the time of Pug's conviction that he believed that there was reasonable doubt in the case. Our client maintained his innocence since day one, so we went to trial and put up the best fight we possibly could. It was a well-tried case and an interesting case because the whole thing was what they could glean from his state of mind, from things he did on the internet and on the computer. I think the case is good for the justice system. It's good for the world to see that in this country you get a trial by jury. In the Islamic State, people accused of crimes don't get such fair treatment. In 2001, while working for American Airlines, one of Pug's coworkers told the FBI that Pug sympathized with Osama bin Laden and felt that the 1998 bombings of U.S. embassies overseas was justified and expressed anti-American sentiment. So for a long time, he's held anti-American sentiments.
Apparently so. Oh, yeah!
420 blaze it.
Here we go. Smoke weed every day. Got this.
And copyright strike.
It's fine. No, the dog wouldn't copyright this. Anyway, that was enough. Alright, recreational marijuana sales in Nevada a month away, barring delays. Could be a boon for Las Vegas.
Sounds like I'm going to Vegas, baby!
Woo! 420 Blaze in Vegas, and you can get fucking drunk and high.
And go gambling and lose all your money.
And go gambling, lose all your money, and also get married to a hooker.
Well, the good thing is that all those smoking section of casinos will now be smoking weed. Which means secondhand high.
The secondhand high. Walking, da-da-da-da-da. That's all you're going to hear as the doors open.
Yeah.
You're going to there's da-da-da-da-da, and you're just like, you see Snoop Dogg in the corner just like,
yo, Snoop, what's up?
Yo, man, what's up? Precision on this one, though. Anyway, only months remain until Nevada is set to join a select number of states that can legally sell recreational marijuana. Yeah. Barring any They need delays. Up to 1 ounce of marijuana will be available for
that's
sale.
a lot.
July. Yeah, that's a fucking pound of vino. Or wait. Yeah? No. Yeah, whatever. Barring any delays, up to 1 ounce of marijuana will be available for sale July 1st to those 21 and older as a result of Question 2 passing last fall.
One of the things I'm always worried about, so it's legal in most states to do it, and we work for a school district, so if I go to Colorado and smoke some weed and come back and get randomly drug tested, I guess I'm going to lose my job, even though it's legal in Colorado.
Question.
Because, I mean, it happened to a guy who worked for Dish. Or TV. Yeah, this guy was in, I think, Washington.
Yeah, but we don't get randomly drug tested.
We didn't get drug tested to get the jobs.
We did? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we don't get drug tested at all now.
Yeah, for some reason we don't get drug tested here. I have no idea why. Just a background check.
They take your fingerprints. That's like enhanced background check.
Yeah. So they wouldn't do. But you know somebody would do it. If I went and like, hey, I'm going to Colorado to go skiing, and then somebody'd be like, he's going there to do weed because they hate us.
Yeah.
And then
they hate us because they hate us, baby.
And then it's like, oh, well, you've been selected for a random drug test, even though we don't do drug tests. That's what's going to happen. I could go there and just ski.
Don't tell people you're going to Colorado then.
Well, somebody will know. You know, like our new boss would know.
Will our new boss know? Maybe not. You don't have to tell them where you're going.
I mean, I guess not. I just like.
And I mean, if you like the new boss, I guess you would say that.
Well, no, I'm talking about the one that we currently have.
Do we have one?
Yeah, the one above our current boss.
Do we have one of those? I thought it was just a spineless jellyfish. As far as I'm concerned, we don't have one.
We have a bot. And it's not even a box jellyfish. Those are actually deadly. It is one of those pathetic little jellyfish that doesn't do anything. Doesn't sting. Doesn't do anything. Just plates.
It's like, you don't even know it's a jellyfish. It's like a little cum splotch just like on the sea.
Interestingly enough, I was actually reading, there is a jellyfish that can actually reverse its own aging. When it feels threatened or is damaged, it can reverse its own aging process.
I feel like we would try to steal that and make that into science.
We are. Of course we are. We're researching it. That's why I saw that story.
Zombies. Anyway.
But no,
it's going to be the
anti-zombies. We'll be able to live forever.
That's zombies, man. It's the T-virus.
But we're not going to be zombies.
They're going to inject that into a dead person's face. It's
going to make him younger.
I know. Or they'll come back to life, but then die again. Do you know what sucks if it's only like... It only goes back in time like 5 minutes, so you just have to die 5 minutes, like, continually.
At that point, just decapitation and incineration.
Incineration. You know what I'm saying? Like, they inject you with it, and you're just like, hey, I'm alive again. Hey, how's it going everywhere? You're gonna die in 2 minutes. What are you talking about?
Well, no.
Sorry, I'm gonna need to call it. Like,
they'd probably do an autopsy, so you wouldn't have organs, so...
No. That's if, like
somebody just suddenly
I'm talking
died.
about if this was like something it became useful and like it only took only gave you like 5 minutes of time, so then they just continue to inject you like in a hospital with it or something.
You just got it on IV.
Yeah, and then just like every 5 minutes you come back to life, but you have to die until they figure out how to keep you from dying the first time.
Cryogenics. There we go.
Yeah, but then you'll be technically dead forever.
Anyways.
Anyway,
we've just been diverging all of this session.
I know, it's great. This is what it needs to be, honestly. I mean, it's good that we finished everything, but man, it's really been shitty. It feels kind of good in here, though. I mean, with that fan.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's not that bad.
It's gonna suck ass when you leave, and I'm gonna have to go to that room because I don't want to bring the bed out here, honestly.
Just move the green screen.
I say we're gonna finish these two. The green screen isn't enough, though. There's still the other windows. Windows everywhere, man. Sometimes it feels like somebody's watching me. Anyway, alright. Question due last fall. This will be the first time recreational marijuana is available for sale in a silver state. Even though possession of marijuana became legal January 1st, there were no places that had to go ahead to sell it. Odd.
So your back alley drug dealer could sell it to you.
Oh, very much. You can hold it. Possession of them. They did that in Houston, I believe. In catch and release for like 100 or so much. Anyway, Essence Vegas is among the local medical marijuana dispensaries that are transitioning to sell recreational pot once it's legal. Armin Yemen Dijon, CEO of Essence, that fucking name. This thinks Las Vegas could become a destination for marijuana. Of course it did.
As opposed to California, Washington, Colorado, or Oregon, or any other state that has recreational marijuana.
I think we have the potential of becoming the new marijuana hub of the country, taking that crown off Colorado and putting it on Nevada, namely Las Vegas.
That's wrong.
Just because Las Vegas is where everyone goes to do crazy shit and get completely destroyed.
What happened in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, even though it doesn't. Herpes, AIDS, STDs, that shit does not stay in Vegas.
If only that was so.
What claps on does not clap off, my friends. Wear a condom. Anyway, I think we have Yemen. Sure. Notes that nearly 43 million visitors Las Vegas saw just last year. Yeah, that's a big thing. We have the best nightclubs, the best hotels, the best restaurants, the best shows, and now we'll hopefully have the best cannabis.
Like, I have the best words, the best hotels, the best resorts.
Pretty much.
We're the best.
Yep. Legal marijuana may provide an extra incentive for tourists, despite rules against smoking pot in hotel rooms or outdoors. I'm really excited to see in a year or two how much that tourism number grows. You said. I think it's had a positive effect on Colorado. It has. And Washington that don't have the allure Las Vegas has. Well, Colorado's in the middle of the states, so that's all right. And Washington's really far up there. Nobody gets fucking Washington.
Except for Seattle.
Yep, still worthless. Essence in particular could benefit with the location on the north end of the strip at 2307 South Las Vegas Boulevard, just north of Sahara Avenue. Essence also has a location on the west side of the valley near Tropicana Avenue and George Boulevard, and in Henderson near Sunset Road.
So 3 different locations.
Having the only dispensary on the Las Vegas Strip is like having the only dispensary in Times Square.
That's a big deal.
While the other dispensaries such as Relief and Sahara Wellness are near the Strip, the businesses are just east of Las Vegas Boulevard. At this point, dozens of businesses, many existing medical marijuana establishments have applied to sell recreational marijuana. As of May 10th, Nevada has 60 medical marijuana dispensaries, 88 cultivation facilities, 57 production, and 11 laboratories. According to the Nevada Department of Health, the majority of dispensaries, 25, are in unincorporated Clark County. While there's excitement from Essence Vegas and other businesses regarding recreation, but ultimately how it is going to affect Las Vegas and Nevada as a whole is determined. No one really knows what the transition is going to be for anybody. Maybe John said, it is a tremendous unknown. We'll have to find out more.
That guy's going to be extremely wealthy.
Oh yeah, he already sounds like a pretentious asshole, so he's just going to roll with it. I'm calling this as the last one for today.
Really?
Yeah.
We haven't even got any tech or stupid crazy. There's some good stories in there.
Yeah, I don't wanna.
Come on, man.
No,
Got pumped with those numbers, man.
What about numbers? I just want to leave it as is, hang out, and change over my airflow to the other room because I'm going to need it.
Okay, so I'm going to cut this short and I'll cover this last one. I'm going to have to say shit's out.
Yeah. And then I have to deal with this bupkis janky ass setup. Yeah. It's going to be a fan in parallel with a window unit that's not even the room I'm staying in. And it's also a window unit that isn't even built for anywhere near the size of the
smallest window unit.
Yeah.
I have a window unit you could find borrowed. It's about that same size.
Oh, it's about. What are you gonna give me? Two times the power.
2 times shit. Yeah.
2 times shit. It's just like probably not even double. It's like 1.5 the effectiveness of shit.
Actually, I think it's about the same size. Actually, yeah, it's about the same size. It's good shit. It can cool the area about this much in front of it.
That's what it does too.
I know.
It's just like I just like put my hand next to it. I was like, oh, that's cold. And then I move a little bit and I'm like,
yeah, you need a room chiller, man.
What the fuck is a room chiller?
Something that's about 15,000 BTU.
For something this size, yes. For an actual room.
No.
Okay. That one was okay for my room at my mom's house. It took a while if it was off. I mean, it feels pretty good in here now.
Yeah, it's actually quite comfortable. I'm telling you, just get a room chiller. Don't care about it. 15,000 BTUs will be fine.
I mean,
sure. Like my parents, they have it. I don't know. My dad picked up this unit. It's huge. I don't know. I think it's 20,000 BTU. It's like that big. Like it's
like that one in that breakthrough, right? Kind of like one that. That
larger.
breakthrough one is huge. Oh,
it's huge. Like half of it is all just bent.
half of it is vent. That's beautiful.
And that room, 61 degrees.
I bet you're like, why can't I have that?
Yes, I am. Why can't I have that? They don't even like it that cold.
That's beautiful. Yeah, no, that sucks. I mean, like, this is in theory only until Monday, but I predict the guy's gonna look at it Monday and he's gonna be like, either he's gonna say it's fucked, or he's gonna be like, it's gonna take me a week to get the part, and then I'm just gonna do this face table, and then I'll be like, yeah, I might get like some. I don't know. I'm gonna make some like duct tape tubing and just like pipe it to the room.
I have some ventilation tubing.
I think any real tubing is too big for that. So it only comes out the top vent, and like it doesn't even come out the side. It only comes up like a couple middle like parts of the vent. I mean that fan blows air really well though.
Yeah, it's a good fan. Quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna leave the door open either, so like I have to air out the room basically.
So, woman left with life-threatening heart condition after parents chose prayer over medical treatment.
Oh hey, we've talked about something like this.
Mariah Walton was diagnosed with a congenital heart disease at age 18. A woman whose life was threatened by heart and lung complications was left permanently disabled after her parents rejected medical treatment and prayed for her recovery instead. Mariah Walton was born with a small hole in her heart,
I know somebody
which could have been repaired early in life, but is now in and out of the hospital for her condition, which is even left in. Yeah, that's the thing. Kids
I know
that,
somebody
and they
like
repair
that.
and it's a simple process.
The person I know is like 18 and she still hasn't had her surgery, but I think her family doesn't have the money for it.
And you don't have insurance?
Nope.
Do it anyway, just declare bankruptcy. That's how you do it.
It's not that easy.
Is she 18?
Yeah, but she doesn't know that either. So she's not smart. She really isn't.
Well, still, that's all you have to do. Just go declare medical bankruptcy, or just ignore it. They will never. Like, that's what my sister did. My sister, she racked up a bunch of medical debt. She just ignores it.
Yeah,
she's just like, it'll go away in a few years sometime.
She's not wrong, though. She's
not wrong, no. After 7 years, debt goes away. They can still try and call you for it after 7 years.
Except for student loans.
Except for student loans. We'll never. You'll die with it.
Literally.
The 21-year-old and her siblings are from the U.S. state of Idaho and are now campaigning for a change in the law so parents such as theirs who choose to follow faith healing can be prosecuted. My lungs burn because I can't get the oxygen I need. They used to pray over me. They'd say, God's going to heal me. You just have to have faith and all kinds of stuff. I think it's time to prosecute them.
Nice.
Miss Walton, who holy shit, 9 siblings in total, was raised in the Mormon church. She was diagnosed with the congenital heart disease at age 18. Her sister Emily told the broadcaster her parents would tell the children we need to pray for Mariah, that she wasn't growing or doing well, and the evil spirits would leave her. Mariah's mother would use natural remedies such as herbs and essential oils as well as prayers. Yes, she goes, let me rub some oil on you. Is your heart better? Is your heart better?
It knows. Catholic. It knows. It knows!
Well, it actually does. Because I'm assuming you've been searching for it.
No, I haven't. I have not. I have not, man.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
No emails about it?
No. That's what I'm saying. It knows too much.
It probably heard you talking.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, the air conditioner. I mean, I did say my AC's out on Twitter. Does that count?
I mean, could be, because your Twitter's linked. Your Twitter is associations with your email address.
I know. Well, I sent it out from Twitch, which is then linked to Twitter, which includes it.
I'm sure they're all linked together, and they're all coming from this IP address, and that's the main important thing.
No, one of them said this was from the phone. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
I don't know. The advertising is a scary thing, and it knows so much. Idaho, parents cannot be prosecuted for neglect if they refuse medical care before their faith. which is stupid.
That is pretty stupid.
State Senator Lee Hyder said last year there were no plans to change the law as freedom of religion is right under the First Amendment. Freedom of the religion, sure.
Freedom of religion is fine,
but when it comes to your children,
that's life in general.
Because it's like parents have a duty and a responsibility to protect their children.
Yeah, CPS will fucking dunk on your forehead if you don't take care of your
child. Just because you're religious doesn't mean you get to ignore your child. It's like, oh, they have a deadly disease that will injure them and cripple them for life.
Well, I want to point to something here. One of my favorite episodes of Ghost in the Shell, the first one, of anime, there's something like this. These people, so, I'm not sure if you know about Ghost in the Shell.
I know a little bit about it.
Ghost in the Shell, futuristic society where, people are cyber enhanced or whatever. They have, super high levels of medicine. Basically, a dude died when he could have been cyberized, but his family didn't allow it because of their religion. And then they put his cyber brain, his friend put his cyber brain into a tank, and then the said tank was a super tank that was just built, brand new, prototype. The fucking episode name is Tessellation. I think it's episode number 2 of the entire series. Fucking episode. We love the Kango tank. Anyway, the said tank goes and starts rampaging through the city, and the Section 9 has to stop. Blah, blah, blah. And anyway, it gets to his parents, and they think it's going to kill his parents, but he never had the idea to do it. Long story short, same thing. Happens in the future, even.
Yeah. So, the campaign group called Children's Right to Live said efforts to change the law are still ongoing, but warned new proposals could in fact put lives further at risk. A spokesperson for the group told the Independent lawmakers had considered 2 bills on the topic. One aimed to rearrange the left language in the law to create the appearance of making reforms without actually changing anything substantive, well, basically how all politicians work. Another would have made things worse by expanding the loophole to cover parents who neglect their children in the name of their ideology as well as religious beliefs and practices. So basically,
nothing. None of these do anything.
And some of it makes it worse because then you'd be like, okay, so I'm gonna leave my 1-year-old and my 2-year-old in my house, and I'm gonna go on a religious retreat for a month, and that problem will get rid of itself.
Literally.
And it's a disturbing thing, because if that happened, because they could literally do that if that expansion was made.
You know what? Probably get rid of itself. All you just gotta do is scrap it 3 times, man. Or, abort it if you don't want it.
Well, people don't believe that. Contraception is is a will of God, and
it's against the will of God. You didn't explain that. You're saying contraceptive is the will of God. I was like, no.
So I meant procreation.
Oh, yeah. Procreation is the will of God, which is pretty much true. I mean, that's all we're literally here to do is just live, make babies, and die. That's like the tilde of human life in a nutshell.
No, I find that a meaning. I build my own meaning on my life.
But that's literally all that's all any organism is here for, man. If you get down to the basic science of it.
Well, yeah, technically, it's here to survive,
procreate,
reproduce, continue reproduction, etc. So, yes.
Yep.
But I choose to find higher meaning in it.
That is the highest meaning. That is all you're literally built for.
That's the basic meaning.
That's what you're built for, in a nutshell.
Yeah, I look for more life.
Yes, you don't get out. You don't do anything. You just play games. I don't want to hear this shit from you. I look to find higher meaning in life. I go on trips, sometimes. This is kind of... I go on trips, sometimes.
I go on virtual trips.
All I do is play single player games. I don't even play multiplayer games. I don't even talk to people online. The only multiplayer games he plays is with me. Basically.
Hey, you got Shadowrun.
I mean, that's a multiplayer game. But who else is in there besides you?
Well, it's you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sage and Napkin and Rin and Azimuth and
all the good bros. I love how my viewer count is just dead. I don't know.
It's zero.
I feel like Twitch is lying. And then I hit the viewers tab over here and it shows Gilzies usually. Gilzies.
I love Gilzies.
He's around. He shows his love every now and then.
He's probably got us on mute.
Yeah, he's probably on his Twitch, Ghost multi-Twitch or something like that.
He's twitching.
Yeah, twitching, mate.
Twitching, mate.
Stage watching Ghost. Cards and drinking them cheap usually. Playing. Do stuff.
Ark might be something to play.
I have Arc.
I do have Arc.
I like Arc-ish. Stop making me make servers for games, and then we quit them.
Well, hey, we reach a pinnacle in the games, and then we're like, well, we've won. What can we do?
We never reached that pinnacle in Minecraft. There's so much more stuff done.
Yeah, but I mean,
I just wanted
Minecraft was meh.
I mean, it was kind of fun. I wanted more people. We needed more.
We needed more people. We need a group of people.
We're not at that pinnacle yet. 7 Days to Die, because the hordes will always fuck
Yeah,
our base.
because the fucking hordes are just like, oh, there's a base, and we're gonna wreck on you.
Anyway,
Like,
there
that's
is no pinnacle in that game, except until I finish the grand base, the grandiose base of Grand Base Grand.
Also known as the gas station.
No, goddammit, not the fucking gas station. Fucking gas station.
Hey, this is the best.
I need a gas. Nope, the friendly out. What was it? PUBG. What was that? It's somebody playing Friday the 13th. It's amazing.
Friday the 13th.
Star Trek Space Pirates. What is Star Trek called? Is that actually the Star Trek game?
They Ubisoft just released Star Trek Bridge Crew. So yeah, you take the place of an actual bridge on Star Trek.
Oh, you mean the VR game?
Yeah, the VR game.
Is it actually cool? Do you actually get to travel around in space and like do stuff? Really?
Yeah, you can control the ship and navigation, weapons, shields, and all that.
So
shit.
it's basically Pulsar Lost Colony, but Star Trek, and
Yes.
probably in 3D and VR.
Yeah.
Well, Pulsar Lost Colony is a really like shitty game. It looks shitty, but it's like really fun where you control a ship with a bunch of other people, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, but production quality is extremely high. It's made by Ubisoft.
And Star Trek nerds.
Yeah. So,
Can I see Burt Black playing with what looks like a 5?
well, of course, it's for the 500.
Oh, really?
I think.
.tm.
That's it.
Yeah, no. Apparently, one of the other cord members just got a Vive, and he's like, "Oh, set my Vive." I was like,
Hey, man, you need to do content with the Vive.
I know. You can do VR. Well, technically, now that we're off on Fridays, we do VR Friday now.
Yeah.
I guess in here. So, I'm still kind of worried about that. But I mean, really, there's no games that would really raise up hands over your
Yes, I mean, we remove the lampshades and lights.
Yeah. Sting!
Just sting, and then we're like, oh shit, my light controller's
Wait, what?
broken. Light controller's broken.
I don't think it's going to break. Those things are kind of robust.
Yeah.
I mean, you drop yours in water, and it still works.
Yeah? For most of the time. And then I just look at the bag of rice, and it's like, oh, working fine now.
The Asians came and fixed it, right?
Okay, folks. We're ending it here a bit early, I know.
It's not early. It's 10:30, dude.
Well, I know, but I mean,
We normally end it at 10:30.
yeah, well, we don't
10:30.
end up. Well, we usually go for 3 hours.
Yeah, well, it's because we started late. And
Yeah, I know. Lots of shit went down today. It was bad. So yeah.
I mean, have you seen his face?
Fuck you.
Almost 3 hours. It's
Yeah, I
15
know.
minutes shy there. Yeah, well,
Fine.
we covered a good bit. We
we
didn't
did.
cover enough because we had tangents. But they were good tangents. Just engaging, interactive tangents. Amazingness.
Yeah, and we started late, so like 30, 40 minutes later.
That'll do it. Alright. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining and coming out, even though I know there's not many people left. But yeah, thank you guys for coming out and joining us anyway. Catch you on the next stream. Not when I know when that is. This is your host, Hyper Brother _1, signing out. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I swear to God. Fucking do it again and do it right.
This is your co-host, Raining Doesn't Underline, also known as Kenneth, signing off. Thank you for joining us.
Alright, now let's find who to host real quick. What do I know people want to watch? Host my guys, since I'm not on very much. I kind of want to host Mr. Maven, because I haven't talked to the Maven. He's playing Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley's funny, I guess.
Is it? I don't know, I own it, I've been meaning to play it. Like, it seems kind of interesting. Actually, I'm actually going to be able to play a game that nobody else probably has. Moonlighter RPG.